the sun goes down on Friday, and the air is getting vibey. Meeting buddies down the corner. Way to go, let's get this party started. And everybody go, oh yeah. Say oh yeah. Feel the rhythm of the dance floor. Oh yeah. Say oh yeah. And tonight we paint the town red. Everyone is just a wild child. Gonna dance until I drop dead. Have a ball as if there were no tomorrow. And everybody go, oh yeah. Say oh yeah. Feel the rhythm of the dance floor. Oh yeah. Say oh yeah. Dance in the moonlight, like crazy in the streets till the sunrise. Yeah, we're riding the spotlight tonight, tonight. When everybody's watching, we're just doing one thing. We dance, we dance, we dance, we dance, we dance, we dance, we. Feel the rhythm of the dance floor. Oh yeah. And everybody go, oh yeah. Say oh yeah. Feel the rhythm of the dance floor. Oh yeah. Say oh Pokémon cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match your Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon. Pokémon cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match your Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon, now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the witness now, whatever. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take 1 for a regular, take 2 if it's a Pokemon V. Take 3 cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you in the game. Retreat to the bench, the Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items for the stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. When Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. The combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokémon cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokémon cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Smiles all around, the joy that I found. Shall we go one more round? Pokémon cat.
Hello everyone, welcome here with me, Aaron Minjut and Darren Chen, and we are bringing to you the Pokemon TCG Championships 2021-2022 here in sunny Malaysia. I'm excited. Darren, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a very sunny day. It's a nice day to play some Pokemon, and looking forward to all the matches today.
Great stuff, great stuff. And we'll today essentially be playing 3 rounds to determine who will beat the best of the best here in Malaysia in the Pokemon trading card game. We've gone through multiple rounds of qualifiers around the country, and we'll be bringing to you essentially the matches that will determine the best player in Malaysia. And honestly, these players have gone through a grueling qualifier season here in Malaysia. I'm just happy at the fact that we have in real life events now, Darren.
Yeah, it's been 3 years since we had physical interaction with players due to the pandemic. So now it's a great time to get back into the game. to have this competitive scene again.
Exactly, and now we here see the players that will be competing today. We have Artavan Akilan, Eric Teo, Gavin Lee, Joshua Teo, Liu Chi Hao, Lo Ken Zun, and Yong Jun Sin participating here in the top 8. Unfortunately, our 8th player, Wong Wei Ran, will not be able to play it today due to some unforeseen circumstances, but we will be able to bring you top quality Pokemon trading card game matches for sure. I'm just excited to see where we stand here in this format, Darren. We are essentially playing the Sword and Shield base set to Sword and Shield Brilliant Stars format.
Yes,
What do you
it
think
is.
about that?
I think it's a pretty interesting format with the introduction of V Stars in Brilliant Stars. No pun intended. It is essentially shaped the meta game in your new dimension. We have V Star power, essentially determining the game, potentially even early in the game.
Mhm.
With the V Star power, like Arceus V Stars Star Buff, potentially can just get you anything that you need early game.
Great stuff. And I think the card that you mentioned, Arceus V-Star, that is the poster child of the Brilliant Stars set, essentially, with Starbird. But also, let's talk about the card itself. Doesn't really function without its Pokemon V, which is Arceus V at Trinity Nova.
Yeah.
That attack essentially allowing you to accelerate energies just for a DTE, a double turbo
Yeah.
energy. And that essentially would pretty much dictate our first match today in this series of matches. So, spoiler alert, we are going to see a lot of Arceus.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of Arceus today.
And here we have our players. Would you like to introduce one of them right now, Darren?
Alright, so on the right we have Mr. Gavin Lee Keng Fai. Seasoned player in Malaysia, been through multiple actually top 8s, and is also a seasoned player in the competitive scene. His most recent one is also in the 2019 regionals in Kuala Lumpur. How about on the left, Mr. Aaron?
Yep, Lo Ken Zun, also not a stranger, but definitely a much more newer player here in Malaysia. Also a top 64 finish at the same regionals you mentioned. Both these players essentially going through the hoops to get into this spot, essentially. Let's talk about the decks that they have been bringing for this tournament.
Well, it's going to be an interesting matchup, per se. Keng Fai is actually essentially bring out the most unorthodox deck, which is Arceus and Malamar V Max. So that's going to be a new kind of scene here for Malaysia, because we don't really have that kind of decks roaming around.
Well, of course, and then we also have the deck from Lo Ken Zun, who is also playing an Arceus deck, and he'll be playing Arceus Inteleon. And if the results from the recent tournaments or anything go by, that is essentially one of the more played Arceus decks in the Brilliant Stars format.
Yeah, definitely.
And now we see the players have already started up. We see Liu Kenzhen on your top and Li Kengfai on the bottom of your screens. And that is the card, Trinity Arceus V, Trinity Charged, the format defining pre-evolution, pretty much,
yeah.
of Arceus V-Star. You can't play Arceus V-Star without Arceus V.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a pretty interesting start here, because with a DTE, you get to charge 3 energies to your bench V Pokemon in any way you like. And that's just the V, not even the V-Star, which is Trinity Nova, if I am not mistaken.
Yep, you're
Yeah, so that-
absolutely right. So the card that really makes Arceus decks very strong essentially here is double turbo energy. If you're going second in this format and you are leading with an Arceus, you essentially get to accelerate 3 energies, 3 basic energies to any of your Pokemon Vs, including the active, I might say.
Yeah.
So we see Cleanzan already taking his first turn. We see an Arceus V in the active with a Darkness energy attached to it, with a Sobble on the bench as well. And let's see what Kingfai is able to respond with.
Now he does start out with a Bidoof here. Not essentially the best start, because it does have a 2 retreat cost. He might need a way of to retreat to the Arceus V to start powering up his other V Pokemon. Ooh. So we'll see how he can combat this.
Yeah,
start here.
I believe a switching card is definitely a necessity to get going. We see an Ultra Ball here discarding the Pumpkaboo and the boss's orders. The boss order essentially could be a card that might come into play here later on, because that essentially allows you to gust up a card from your opponent's bench so that you can take easier knockouts. Let's see what Kingfai is going for here with this first Ultra Ball. So the first deck search, obviously one that will take a little longer than usual. Both these players, seasoned players of course, will want to look through and find out what did they actually prize.
Now, this is going to be an interesting sequence soon here. It depends what mon does he want to take out. Most likely an Arceus V. So, and we do see an Arceus V come down now. Does he have any sort of switching cards? And by the side of Lo Kanzun, it looks like it's pretty much okay start. Does have a
Mhm.
RCSV, an energy, and a Sobble. That's all you need for turn 1. Essentially, it would be better if you have a bit more Sobbles down, to start get the KD dealings going with Drizzles. But I think so far pretty good start here for Lo Kanzun, and we'll see how Kangfai get to retaliate, essentially.
Yep, for sure. I think at this point, both these players are looking to set up RCSVs. Essentially, we just need to see whether or not Kingfai is able to go for a very early RCSV with Trinity Charge. Doesn't seem like it at this point. He may not have the right combination of cards. We see an escape rope here being played, but mind you, Kingfai did not play down the RCSV, so maybe figuring out that he would prefer having it on the bench.
Alright, so interesting play of events here. He does go for a Professor's Research.
Yeah.
Discarding his hand and drawing 7. So he does want to protect his RCSV, I assume.
That might be true. And I think also even having the RSSV in the active, it just meant that he needed to hit off the press research, not just the DTE, but also a Pokemon to accelerate to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And what do we get from Kingfai here? Is there anything else that he's looking to play?
I'm not really sure. Maybe getting down his other V Pokemon, like his even an Arceus V, so he can accelerate energy potentially. But this doesn't look like it. He's going for just a single Dark Energy, so no Trinity Charge going on here. So most likely going to be a very just set up kind of turn from Kangfai, and a Path of the Peak does come down.
Yep, so a very early path to the peak. This is a card, pretty much a game-defining card essentially, especially when we have so many abilities that work. Path to the Peak essentially says that your Pokemon V do not have access to their abilities, which is huge in this format.
Any Pokemon with rule box doesn't have
With
any
rule
ability.
box, yeah, fair enough. We haven't seen GXs for a while, so
Yeah.
Pokemon V is the only one with the rule box at the moment.
Spoiler alert, those Pokemon coming out from Astral Radiance, Radiant Pokemons, does have a rule box, so those will be turned off by Path to Peak as well.
Well, I probably should get my playset right now then, if that's the case.
Yeah, it's going to be a card that's going to be very popular.
Right, so now we're back to Kenzon's turn. We see a level ball here, going for a Drizzle.
And it looks like here comes the first Shady Dealing of the game.
Yep, I was about to say Shady Dealing's the backbone of this deck in some way as well, allowing you access to as many trainer cards. Well, allowing access to one of the many trainer cards that you have in your deck, pardon me. So it's essentially the consistency engine of the Arceus deck. And we've seen Drizzles in so many decks.
Multiple decks.
It's as prevalent as Arceus V in the format, essentially, right? You can pair it with Arceus, you can pair it with Rapid Strike Urshifu, you can pair it with Malamar. There's so many ways to go about it, and we see a Professor's Researcher discarding quite a bit of
That's
resources.
a lot of resources going down.
Yeah, I caught a boss order, among others.
Yeah, I can't really see much other than that, but looks like it's a pretty big resource.
Yep, Sharon's, double Sharon's Care as well, and 2 boss order in the discard pile for
So he
Kenzun
won't
already.
have those to play then for the next few turns.
Yep.
So we'll see how he's gonna get around this.
Well, I'm sure the first thing that he's looking for is how can he get the Drizzle out of the active. We see a Arceus V-Star now on the bench, and only a Darkness Energy, so no DTE.
Well,
No way to move it to the active for an attack, so he's just opting to just go for a basic energy attachment.
yeah.
And that's the card right there. Arceus V-Star, the card that I believe has pretty much defined this format, even though it's not always the deck that wins tournaments, but it's either you have to beat Arceus or you play Arceus,
Yeah.
essentially.
Or either
So-
just beat Mew, essentially. It's either
Or beat Mew, yeah, fair enough. I mean, but we just see a pass here from Kenzun, and it's now back to Kangfai's turn right now.
And that's why Path to the Peak slow down Arceus V-Star a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
Without that path in play from Kingfai, I think Kenzun had access to so many resources, so
Yeah,
many different options.
Starburst will
Starburst.
just get him so many things he would like.
Yeah.
Can start chaining out Sobbles, or even like getting down multiple V-Mons, or even just setting out Arceus. Essentially, just to start Trinity Nova and get some damage on the field, take some early prizes. But now back to Kangfai. Is he stuck to his own path? That's the question.
That is a good point.
So we'll see here an Ultra Ball coming down here from Kangfai. He does have a double turbo, I assume, attached to his Arceus V. So looks like he is gearing up, most likely for at least a Trinity Charge.
Yeah, let's see what he gets here with the Ultra Ball. The second Ultra Ball of the game. And it seems like he's picking out options already.
All right.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's decided on his Pokemon.
Yeah, both these players definitely seasoned players in their own right. So making sure that they pick the right cards for this particular instance, and
It looks like he's going for Bibarel.
yep. So it's just a big barrel.
Ability is to draw up to 5 cards in your hand.
Yep, Industrious Incisors is that ability. Once during a turn, you may draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand, and this ability is not affected by Path of the Peak because
Yes.
Bibarel does not have a rule box.
Exactly. So maybe going for the slower route here from Kenfai. We'll see now what's next. He hasn't played a
Yeah,
supporter
that's
yet, so most likely we'll see what's his decision here. Not sure what he's trying to opt to now. He want to get down his V-Star probably, his main attacker, which is Malama V. Started powering up that, potentially.
Yeah, but that also is really dependent on the fact that if you can get the big barrel out of the active.
Yes,
so-
exactly.
So I think here going for the Industrious Incisors is the right play, drawing 3 cards now.
Yep.
Up to 5 essentially, with 2 cards already in hand. He still has yet to play a supporter, so there are options there.
Yeah,
And
he
we see
seems-
now an Illusion Incense, perfect card in this situation, grabbing immediately the Arceus V-Star.
Yeah, no hesitation right there. You see a quick ball discarding a double turbo energy.
Mm-hmm. And I presume this would be for... Well, to be fair, I'm not too sure what it could be for at this point.
Maybe it's a
probably
Malamar
going for the
V?
Malamar.
Yeah,
Yep, there
there
you
we
go. So
go.
Malamar V appears now.
So
The
at least
card which forms the backbone of Kangfai's attacking strategy, which is a little different from how other decks play out. We've seen Arceus Duraludon, we've seen Arceus Inteleon. There's so many different Arceus decks essentially.
too
in the
many
format.
Arceus decks
Yeah.
to count.
But Melma V is an interesting one because it doesn't really work like the other Arceus decks. Essentially, it's part disruption as well. We're talking about Melma V Max, obviously, not just the V.
I think people might be confused sometimes when we talk about Malamar. And they
Mhm.
might thinking of the basic non-V Malamar,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
rapid strike one.
for sure, for sure. And we see off the 5 cards Marnie, there was a big chunk, but more importantly, the air balloon to get the Bibarel out
Yes.
of the active. And now, Kangfai has an attacker ready, and not just that, able to accelerate energies on his second turn.
And that's the first knockout right there.
Yep, going out 1 prize and grabbing basic energies, 3 basic energies, up to 3 I should say. He's only grabbing 2,
All right,
and I presume this should go on.
Malamar.
Yeah,
V.
so it's gonna go to the Malwa V. There you go.
So it's gonna be so far pretty good start here from Kangfai, getting the proper setup he needs,
Yes,
even under path. You know,
exactly. Even under path, he was able to draw into the right combination of cards to get
Yeah.
him this setup, and now he's firmly in the lead. What would Kenzun have up his sleeve? We
Oh.
see an Illusion Incense,
now
but he already has a V-Star in the active though. So what is he going for here?
I'm not sure. He may be trying to thin out his deck or something.
Probably.
Because he doesn't have any Sobble down, so that's a main issue right there. So he doesn't have access to Shady Dealings again. That could get the path away from the field.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Having multiple Sobbles in play going into this turn would have been paramount for Kenzun.
Yeah.
You see the Sobble now on your left of the screen. They keep calling attack. It's a pretty strong attack, I would
Yeah.
say. Having an ability to bring out 3 basic Rapid Strike Pokemon, and most likely those will be Sobbles. But unfortunately, in this case, he doesn't have access to that right now.
Well, this
It's just a lone Arceus V-Star with a lot of energy on it. But that's
Yeah.
about it. And it's just going to go for
oh
a
no,
Treaty Nova.
oh
And
no.
I didn't catch him benching anything else.
No, I don't think there's any Pokemon on his bench.
Right. So that's well, that's essentially for 180 damage now.
This path has seriously slowed down Kenzun so much.
Well, to slow down both of them. It's just that for Kangfai was able to draw out of it thanks to
Yeah, B-Barrel.
Bibarel, yeah.
And that's the choice belt right there.
Yeah.
Adding 30 more damage to Arceus V when he attacks an V Pokemon, basically.
We'll see in Industrious Incisors for 2. I presume Kangfai now will be looking to go with the next level of his setup. Maybe the
Mhm.
Malma VMAX perhaps?
We'll see if he comes out this turn. It's pretty disruptive to say, since Kenzun doesn't have a great start, essentially.
Mhm.
It's great to slow down opponent that's already slowed down by path. Kangfai still thinking.
Think about the
Right,
next move, and that's an
yeah,
Adventure
just-
Discovery. So a card that came out in Fusion Strike, I believe, allowing you to search up to 3 Pokemon V, and
Yep.
those include VMAXs. And there we see the Malamar VMAX make its appearance in this game.
This card is such an underrated supporter card. Get to search out 3 V Pokemon,
Oh, yeah.
including V-Stars, V-Max, all these are considered under Pokemon V.
Yep, that's for
So-
sure.
Pretty efficient, especially for Arceus based decks as well, since you can get these Pokemons out as soon as you can.
Yep, and looks like Kangfai here has opted to grab the Malamar VMAX and another Arceus V.
He's thinking of his third V Pokemon to grab. Not really sure, because he pretty much got what he wants. Maybe he just want to get a setup, a backup attacker perhaps.
Yep. Well, let's talk about Kenzan a little bit. Like, what could he have done essentially in this match? I don't believe there were any options to him. Maybe his hand was just very,
I don't
You
think his
know-
hand was pretty good.
yeah. The hand essentially was not the greatest, and he's just left stranded right now.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but it is the nature of the Pokemon TCG.
Oh yeah, you have so many variances that can happen. There's so many ways that you can pretty much just we call it bricking. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the right way to go about it, but obviously there are ways in which you can draw out of that. You know,
Mhm.
playing high support accounts, more support Pokemon, playing Bibarel, for example, which is a very strong card in this sort of situations where if you're not drawing the right stuff, just in your hand, draw more cards, and then chances are you get something, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this shows that even how consistent your deck is, you can still essentially brick, you know.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Arceus Inteleon is pretty much a extremely consistent deck with Sobbles and just Arceus, Starbirth. So many options to get cards that you need, and it still happens.
Yep, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, not really sure what he can do with this because once Kangfai does attack, his Arceus is pretty much on the danger zone here.
Yeah, but then again, if he just attacks into this Arceus V-Star and giving Kenzan, the 2 prizes, Kangfai has a backup attacker. Kenzan doesn't have anything on his bench,
Exactly, yeah.
so it remains to be seen, right? At this point, we're just dealing damage back and forth. Kangfai just checking his deck a little bit. He's not grabbing any energy there.
Yep.
Not sure if there's any in the first place,
Yeah, exactly.
but we will see a Trinity Nova for 210 damage, essentially putting this Arceus in 2-shot range.
And that Malamar is prime and ready.
Yep, you will be
Yeah.
able to take a knockout here next turn. But okay, we at least see another bench Pokemon from Kenzan, so we will have, a chance to play out this match a little longer. It will not end in a donk.
Yeah, that pretty much at least gives a chance there for Kenzion at least to keep on playing.
Is it a little too late though?
That's a very hard question to answer.
Yeah,
But no, he just knocks out the Arceus V-Star.
yep. And with Trinity Nova dealing enough damage to knock that Arceus V-Star out.
Yep.
Grabbing energies now for, I presume, the Arceus V on the bench. Yep, so grab 2 Darkness Energy. And for Kangfai, he has now promoted the Bibarel that has the Air Balloon. So a free retreating pivot, essentially, for Kangfai.
Yeah, exactly. So he at least has options to think about what to attack with next. But Kenzion does have maybe a few other attackers other than Arceus, maybe. Hopefully come down later. But other
Yep.
than that, I'm not really sure what else he can do because he's essentially behind in prizes once his Arceus V-Star goes down. And
Mhm.
Kangfai essentially is ready to go with his Malamar VMAX. And here comes a Marnie coming down from Kangfai. So he'll be left with 4 cards again.
Oh yeah, for sure. They attack Max Jammer here, essentially. Will come to play here after this Marnie. So Marnie making you draw 4 cards, shuffling hand and putting it underneath the deck so you don't get a chance to draw back the same stuff you
Yeah.
put back in. And then the combination here is essentially with Malamar VMAX. After the Marnie, I will Max Jammer your hand and grab the card that is most valuable to you
And there it is. Max Jammer here.
and remove that card from your hand,
Yeah,
essentially. And
it's
now you're
gone.
playing with 3 cards plus 1 off the top.
You
You know.
really have to just, hope that you get a good top deck here.
Yeah, pretty much. But we see here from the hand, there seems to be a Marnie, an Ultra Ball, Level Ball, and a DTE.
So he's contemplating on which one to put it away.
Yep.
Looking at his discard pile, checking resource.
Yep.
Essentially, it's all about the top deck now for Kang Seun.
Yes, definitely. And I think more importantly also, what could be the follow-up play, right? Because you're only going to have an RSS V
Mm-hmm.
with 2 energies, and that's about it.
He is really, really behind in terms of tempo for the game.
And Gangfa opts to choose the Marnie, so taking away the only supporter from Kenzun's hand.
And we'll see what he top decks. Is it anything playable? There was an Ultra Ball in his hand, but he doesn't have access to Starbirth because Path is still in play from turn
Yep.
1. That's pretty long, I must say.
The ultimate value from a Path to the Peak is the one that stays in play. And I don't believe Kenzun runs anything to actually get rid of it. I presume these decks also play their own version of Path, but
Yeah,
there are so many other ways to get rid of Path to the Peak. There's Pumpkaboo, maybe a Tech Stadium, but we don't see any of that at the moment.
oh yeah, unfortunately for Kang Seun. He really wants to get at least a Starbirth out to start setting up stuff again. But maybe it's a little too late. Kangfai is at 3 prizes, so at least his Arceus here get to survive another turn perhaps, and maybe can maybe get another attacker out. Maybe starts getting out Sobbles.
Yeah, that's true. I think getting out Sobbles is the way back, but I just don't know if that's enough, to be honest with you. There is just so much that a Sobble can do
Yeah.
at this stage of the game. Multiple Sobbles, maybe. You're able to chain into multiple Drizzles, chain into multiple Shady Dealings, essentially. But just 1 or 2 Sobbles, well, 1 Sobble, I should say, is probably not going to cut it at this stage of the game.
Well, he needs to get something. His engine is basically an Inteleon deck.
That's true.
I think without access to Shady Dealings and Inteleon down the line, I don't think he's gonna make it far with just an Arceus V-Star going up against a Malma V-Max, as well as some B-Barrel. I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's fair to say that Bibarel is doing a much better job than Drizzle.
Well, at this kind of case, yeah, it is. We do see a Dark Energy going down on Malma V here. Do note that Malma V-Max does have a lot of HP right now, even though taking an attack off from the Arceus V-Star. That's a Max Jammer. I didn't see what card got took away. And we do see a Marnie coming up
Okay.
from Kang Seun. So at least a support is being played.
Yep. At least the supporter was played. It remains to be seen if this is too little too late, or will he have a chance to come back in the game. I think the card that we saw that could have changed this match a little bit was the Sharon's Care, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Essentially making a 2-shot much more difficult for your opponent. But we saw that I believe 2 of them were discarded earlier in the game.
Yeah,
so
that research definitely hurts.
yeah.
Oh, looks like he's probably trying to get at least a Drizzle out here. Trying to get some Shady Dealings out. He played a supporter, so no more Sharon's Care for this turn. Essentially, he's pretty locked with his Pokemon that's on the field right now.
Yeah, you're pretty much resigned to losing this RSSV, I would think.
Yeah.
And the fact that Kangfai is now down to 3 prizes, it just means that everything that he's looking to get knockout on is in play right now.
Yeah, exactly. His price map is pretty straightforward. With that RSSV now, soon will be knocked out. We do see a Shady Dealing here. Is there anything that he can do to turn this back around? He's opting for a Choice Belt. Not sure the math here. That Malma V Max does have a big charm, if I'm not mistaken, on it.
Yeah, it does have a big charm. It also has 300 and I believe 20 HP. So in total, that should be pretty out of range for anything that 310 hit points. Sorry, 310 with then the big charm. So I don't believe Kenzan has any combination of cards here that can take a knockout, but we'll see what happens. So the Choice Belt does come down, and it's going to be for 210 damage, I believe.
Yeah, still short of knocking out this
Yeah.
Malma V Max. Just a little short. But there's no partner for the Arceus V-Star to power it to, unfortunately. Now for Kangfai's side of the field, he's just gonna start max jammering up again. I think he's not gonna stop.
Yeah, essentially taking away your opponent's resources is a great way to get to victory. You know, he did take an early lead, but now, of course, with Kenzan having at least an attacker, Kangfai's game plan here is just to make sure that he has every out available, and we see a power pad put back to the boss order that we talked about earlier on.
Well, it's in the deck now.
Yep, that's in the deck now. We see an Ultra Ball here.
That's most likely another Malma VMAX. And
Yep,
yep, there
a
it
second
is.
Malma VMAX as well. So
As if-
essentially, Kangfai has enough attackers to see out this game at this point.
yeah, as if knocking out one is hard enough.
And neither player has used their V-Star power.
No, what's a V-Star power, by the way? Well, it didn't exist in this game.
No, that doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it.
It's just path to the peak. You see a quick ball coming out here. Discarding an evolution instance.
Yep, again, I think just thinning the deck at this point, making sure that next turn it's
Yeah, he
it's
just
the cards that I want to get.
he just want to get
essentially.
he just want to draw his boss order later.
Thins the deck. Thins pretty much the deck as many times as possible, and now I believe he has not played a support yet for the turn.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
So we still have a lot of resource going on here for Kangfai.
Yeah, he's pretty much had no turns where he hasn't played a supporter or used Industrious Incisors, so he's been drawing to the deck as much as possible.
And we do see a research.
Yep, a research here. Drawing 7.
So potentially finding what he needs for next turn.
Yep, Professor Research, a card that essentially is the spiritual successor to the first ever Professor Oak, allowing you to discard your hand and draw 7 cards. It's been reprinted, well, I should say printed in essence multiple times now. Professor Juniper, Professor Sycamore, and now Professor's Research.
Yeah, it's been in history now.
Yeah, it's never been in the format. I play Retro a bit, and that's a card that we play in base set still, Professor Oak, and now we have Professor's Research. And just a very simple knockout here from Kangfai using Max Jammer. Kenzan now left with a Drizzle, which is not just a Drizzle, it's an Intellion.
Intellion. We do see an Intellion coming down, so no, that's the deck. But is this enough?
Well, to be fair, Aqua Bullet, which is the attack from Intellion, does 120 and then sniping for 20 as well.
He needs a lot.
But he still needs a way to accelerate energy as well, but there's no energy attached to the Intellion right now anyway.
Yeah, because the Kangfai only has one prize left.
Yeah, and this is that one prize. This
Yeah,
Intellion
exactly.
is that one prize.
So he needs at least something to survive at least.
I don't believe there's any right combination of cards here that allows this Intellion to attack and remain
Alive.
alive,
Yeah, it's-
remain unknocked out essentially, right?
This is pretty brutal here.
Like even if you were able to accelerate energy and bring up the Bidoof, for example, if you attack into that Bidoof, you will be, allowing Kangfai's attackers in. So there is nothing much here to go for, I think.
Exactly.
That path to the peak. What a card! What a card!
It's been there since turn 1, and I think Kenzan just scoop up game
Yeah,
1.
I think that's game 1 there for Kangfai. Kenzan saying that, you know what, I don't have any options at this point of time. Let's just go to game 2. And again, this is essentially a Swiss format with 1 game to Kangfai and 0 to Kenzan. That is essentially game 1 for this best of 3. Very interesting game.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Although Kenzan didn't really get his game going. He only had 1 Sobber at the start, which was great, but he got escape throw out, and then he just got knocked out turn 2.
That escaper probably did more than what we realized, putting that Arceus in a very awkward position, not being able to come out to actually get an attack off, especially because there was a path to the peak. So
Yeah.
even evolving into an Arceus V-Star would not have helped either player essentially, right? But
Yeah.
it was Kangfai's deck that was able to power through that lock on your abilities, and thanks of course to that Bibarel,
Yeah,
allowing him to
Bibarel.
always refill his hand each turn.
Yeah, B-Barrel definitely saved the day there, I think, on turn 2. That really,
Oh yeah.
he drew what he needed. He got to retreat with the air balloon and all that. Yep. And he got to have the first attack out, the first knockout on the Drizzle. He doesn't have any more Sobbles in play. He couldn't get any more Drizzles out from the next turn. And that essentially, I think, was the true knife there.
Yeah,
that game.
pretty much. It's Well, to be fair to both these players, they've come long and far to get here in the
Yeah.
first place. So it's nothing to scoff at their achievements in just getting to this top 8 here at the Pokemon Trading Card Game Championships Malaysia. It's just interesting to see that the entirety of this format has pretty much revolved around Arceus decks, Mew decks, and then now we see two different combinations of Arceus. Essentially, we have Arceus Malamar VMAX and Arceus Inteleon. I would have presumed that the Arceus Inteleon deck was more or less more consistent, I think,
Yeah.
compared to a deck playing Bibarel.
Mm-hmm. I think Inteleon is just so popular nowadays, even
Maybe, yeah.
overseas and multiple tournaments. It has been the consistency engine for most decks.
Yeah.
So seeing it not able to function properly that game was pretty rare, to be honest.
Yeah, but that happens with the Path to the Peak, right? That
Yeah.
is the card essentially that defined Game 1, and obviously Game 2 here. We're waiting to see which of these players start off first. I would presume it might be Kenzun starting us off, but let's see. Yep, it is
He's
Kenzun,
going first.
and he's opening with a Sobble again, and Kingfai is opening with an Arceus V, so no Bidoof opening for Kingfai this time around.
So we'll see. Maybe he's gonna get better than game 1, I can say.
Yep, definitely better than Game 1. So
Yes.
double the number of Sobbles that we saw in Game 1 for Kenzun on turn 1.
Yep.
And while you can't attack on your turn 1 in the Pokemon Trading Card game at this point of time, you can attach something called Capture Energy, which is that
Yeah.
energy, that nice golden energy that's just been attached to that active Sobble, which allows you to search for basic Pokemon, putting that onto your bench.
Yeah, how efficient.
Yep, attaching energy and getting getting Pokemon.
I mean, what more do you need from turn 1?
Even if you can't attack, so
Yeah.
especially if you can't attack, I mean. So there is an Arceus V. Kenzun's just looking through his deck, making sure he has knowledge of what is in there, what is not in there.
So pretty much Kenshin is set again.
Yep,
so
it's
far.
gonna set up. Yeah, pretty much.
He pretty much has a better setup than game 1 too. He has 2 Sobbles better than 1. He can have 2 Drizzles next turn, potentially. So more access to his deck, trainer cards, to try and help
Alright.
set up his engine.
So we do see a Bidoof come down for Kingfai's first turn here, and just making sure that he knows how many cards are there in Kenzun's hand. Are we gonna see it? It's gonna be an attachment,
Oh, just a dark
basic energy attachment to the Arceus V in the active.
Ooh. This is gonna be an interesting turn of events here. Looks like no double turbo attachment, so no Trinity charge.
It's interesting, right? Both of
Yeah.
these players essentially have been attaching Darkness Energy for the most part.
Yeah. It's always the double turbo comes in later and not early.
Yeah, that's true. It pretty much ensures that they can play around things like fan of waves, things like that.
Exactly.
And okay, so
Oh.
a researcher discarding the Path to the Peak.
Right.
So Kingfai feeling that there's value in keeping abilities on the board.
Yeah. So maybe he's trying for another route, or maybe he's trying another game plan.
Maybe we'll finally get to see a V-Star power used. We didn't get
Yeah.
to see one in game 1, so.
I mean, with the path gone, most likely we'll see a V-Star power get used here. So he does get down a Malma V. Yep. He's
Thinking about it.
yeah, well, it is got benched though.
Yeah, so 2 Bidoofs and a Melma V. I think this is optimal setup, I think, at this point.
Setup wise, he is pretty okay, but he could have wished there was a double turbo in
Of
the
course,
Arceus
of
to start
course.
Trinity charging.
Yeah, of course.
I do see a level ball coming down here for Kensun. This probably indicates a shady dealing Drizzle coming down.
Yep, Shady Dealings. Pretty much the consistency engine for the Arceus Inteleon deck. Surprisingly enough, this card, this Drizzle, from all the way back in the base set of Sword and Shield, has been around for a couple of years now. It pretty much predates COVID. it's a card that has been
It's-
around since the first ever Sword and Shield format, and it's still relevant after all this time.
I mean, it does. Its ability is so strong. You get to get one trainer card from your deck, just any one, just pick it as
Mhm.
you evolve it. And I think that defines a lot of how this deck works. Is to
Yeah.
get the pieces that you want at the right time.
You know what? I want to ask a pro player: would they still play Drizzle with Shady Dealings if they didn't have Rapid Strike Sobble? If it was just a
Ooh.
very, generic Sobble without keep calling.
Oh, that's
I want to
gonna be
ask a pro player about that.
yeah, that's an interesting question because keep calling can essentially get your Sobbles out early.
Yeah,
So without that, maybe it's a bit less consistent without the Rapid Strike Sobble.
maybe.
So we do see Evolutionary Incense. Nope. Oh, that's a AD dealing for a quick ball. Because we see another Drizzle came down earlier. He's cutting a Power Pad here with the quick ball.
Oh, and that's a card we have not seen yet. That is
Yeah.
the Moltres.
A bit early, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is a card that we traditionally see to close out games. This is the Moltres. I believe it's from Evolving Skies. And it has the ability called Malevolent Charge, allowing you to attach 2 Dark Energy from your hand to this Pokemon. And then with your manual attachment, you immediately power up its attack, which is Fairy Wrath. It's pretty much a finisher for Kenson's deck, because at the end of the game, when your opponent's taken multiple prizes, I come in with a big Fairy Wrath, and then pretty much sweep the game from there.
Right. And it's a one prizer too.
And it's a one prizer too. That's
Yeah.
that's a big part of that deck. Oh, this card essentially, right? You're doing a ton of damage, but you're not giving up 2 or even 3 prizes. Just giving up a single prize, but you're taking knockouts.
Yeah. But essentially, in the early games, when your opponent doesn't take a prize yet,
Mhm.
you're not doing really much damage with this.
Oh yeah. But I think at least Kinzun has that in play at this point, and he has attached the Darkness Energy to it. Maybe just ensuring that he has something going on. Maybe he has going through another awkward hand. I don't know.
We do see the Arceus V-Star come down, so potentially a V-Star power coming out, the Star Buff ability from Arceus V-Star coming.
That is a possibility for sure.
Yeah, since we didn't see it last game, and we do see it this game.
Yep, we finally see the first V-Star power of the match.
Yeah,
1.5 games in.
I mean, Star Buff, take 2 of any card off your deck, of your choosing, and just put in your hand. It's yours.
Yep.
Don't need to think about it.
Yeah, pretty much. It sets up so many different combinations of cards, especially in combo-oriented decks. You're able to search out the missing pieces that you need, or search out the missing pieces that you need to search out other missing pieces, in the sense of, maybe going for cards that net you 2 cards off. So it's pretty much the poster, again, I have to say, the poster card of the Brilliant Stars set. And now we finally see it in play.
Yeah, right.
And very interesting to at least see Arceus close out the final couple of weeks of the Brilliant Stars format before we get into the new set coming up, which is Astral Radiance.
Yes, exactly.
Spoiler alert, that's coming out real soon.
It's gonna be a fun set to play.
Yep. We see here just a Trinity Nova for I believe 180 damage.
Now,
Yep.
Kenshin did a few plays there, and
Yep.
he switched from the Moltres to
Yep.
his Arceus V-Star, retreating his Drizzle, to
Yep,
his
yep.
Arceus V-Star, and that gets his power up.
I'm glad you caught that,
Yeah.
because that is something which maybe viewers were not able to see. I especially only caught it very late. Essentially, that
It was very fast.
yeah, where the Malevolent Charge essentially allowed that energy switch play so that you will get off a Trinity Nova.
Yeah.
So very heads up play there by Kenzun, allowing him to attack on turn 2.
And now we do have an Arceus fully powered up for Kenshin as well, on the back of that Trinity Nova. So he's pretty much ready to go for the next few turns. And for Kangfai, he needs to retaliate back.
Oh yeah, for sure. We need to see something of a responsive on Kangfai. An Ultra Ball's a start, which probably gets him. Yep, that is the Arceus V-Star.
The poster boy.
And now we have 2 Arceus V-Stars facing off against each other.
And this is more likely going to be another star buff from Kangfai. Kangfai side, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Now he's
Eh.
looking to possibly charge up his Malma VMAX, which is in his hand. And he's going to Industrious Incisors here for 5.
Yep, I'm just going to take this opportunity to welcome all of you who just joined in onto the stream. We are essentially playing in the Swiss Round 1 here at the Pokemon Trading Card Game Championships here in Malaysia, sunny Malaysia. And we have Kangfai here leading 1-0 against Kenzon in our Round 1 of Swiss. And it's pretty much an Arceus heads-up match at the moment, with Arceus Malamar for Kangfai and Arceus Inteleon for Kenzun. With the splash of Moltres, I should say.
Yeah, with the flavor of Moltres is essentially in the Inteleon decks mostly nowadays. It's pretty much an efficient late game attacker, taking surprise knockout when you least expected it. Now Kangfai just double checking opponent's discard pile, resource, used.
Yep, he's also used his probably his favorite ability of game one,
Yeah.
Industrious Incisors off that Bibarel.
Yep. Just thinking, maybe what's his game plan here? Since Kenjun got the first hit in, he might have an alternate game plan compared to game one. So, not sure which route he wants to take. There's a quick ball being played, discarding a Path to Peak, which was very obvious during game one, which locks both players out of their abilities for Brew Box Pokemons. And we do see another Arceus comes down.
That to me is a little interesting.
And he is gonna bench the Arceus V. And looks like he's probably not. He hasn't played a supporter yet, I believe, because he only did an Industrious Incisor earlier. But no, he's just gonna Trinity Nova.
Yep, just a Trinity Nova here from the Arceus V-Star. So they've traded pretty much Trinity Novas upon each other.
Yeah.
Both at 180 damage, so it's essentially putting these Arceus V-Stars into 2-hit range. And we see the energy come down, 2 on the Malamar VMAX and 1 on the Arceus V. So Kangfai diversifying his options for his next turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and I think I can probably see what's coming here from Kenzun. We see it. I see a
And then Inteleon.
Evolution Incense,
Yeah.
and it's going for Inteleon.
Yep.
Inteleon also on Sword and Shield format, having multiple, well, this time 2 cards, 2 trainer cards from their shady dealing. So as you evolve into stage 2, you get double the number of trainer cards from your abilities.
2 is better than 1.
2 is better than 1. Nicely said. So we have a shady dealings here for 2 trainer cards from Kenzun's Inteleon. What do you pick for Sword and Shield? I picked Sobble.
I don't remember what I picked.
So we see a Sharon's Care, which is and a Level Ball grabbing a Sobble. So that Sharon's Care now come into play. We
Yeah.
didn't see that in game 1 because Kenzun had to discard Sharon's Care early on. Both his Sharon's Care were discarded.
Yeah, so it is coming to effect this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
It's
It's
gonna
also
be-
a Scoop Up Net as well,
Oh,
getting the
that's so
Inteleon
big.
back, setting up multiple Sobbles for next turn.
This is so big.
And he even has the backup Arceus V-Star, and now the
Yeah.
Sharon's Care.
Yeah, Charinka has been played.
A huge card, putting the entire Pokemon into your hand,
Along with all cards
including
attached.
all the
Yeah.
attachments as well. So, Sharon's Care here, a supporter from the Brilliant Star set. So it was launched with Arceus. It was meant to be played together, I believe. And all that damage that was done by that Trinity Nova from Kangfai has just been erased.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
And he gets the knockout instead.
And yeah, the knockout comes about. There is a backup Arceus V now on the bench with a Darkness Energy, with a double Turbo Energy as well.
This is getting real spicy right here.
Yeah, and it's a complete turnaround for Kenzun compared to game 1. I think that's the main factor here. His deck is finally working out the way he hoped it would.
Yeah, essentially he got what he needs at the right time.
Yeah.
With the Drizzles and then Inteleon after that. That's why this engine is so strong and consistent. And why it's so
Yep.
prevalent in the meta game. Yeah, it's such a strong card. So we do see Arceus V-Star come down from Kangfai.
Yeah, I think now it's very much a comparison of how strong a Bibarel engine versus a Sobble engine goes about. Bibarel engine essentially refills your hand. You get more options, but you can't choose the options that you're looking for.
Yeah, you just have to draw it.
Yeah.
I mean, he did that in game 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
But unfortunately, not the case here for game 2. And looks like he's opting for a play here. No, just double checking his opponent's field. And here comes a Marnie. Essentially forcing Kenzun to just shuffle his hand to the bottom of the deck and just draw 4 cards. While Kangfai draws 5.
Yep, the question now is what route would Kangfai go for this turn?
I'm not sure myself. This is a pretty rough situation to be in. But perhaps a seasoned player like him might know.
Yeah, he'll probably get himself out
Yeah.
considering his experience. But the question now is, what is that route? We have to see it in play. But then again, we should never discount Kenzun as well. You know, whatever
Yeah.
response that Kangfai has here, he may already have a game plan for it.
So far, Kangzun has been playing really well in game 2. Everything was
But his
Picture
deck has
perfect.
been playing well.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
deck
essentially.
he's been playing well all through the match, you know, the
qualifiers
qualifiers
as
of the match.
well, yeah.
But the deck finally decided to, you know what, I'm gonna wake up for game 2.
Yeah, it's time to play, man. It's time to play.
An Ultra Ball here from King Fai.
And looks like a pretty, as if one is not enough.
Yep.
Why not two? Two
Yep,
B barrels.
Two barrels. Two Industrious Incisors available for King Fai this turn.
Now the downside is, even if you have two, if you're unable to make your hand less than 5 cards, you're unable to use the ability.
That is true. That is really true. You can't refill your hand further if your hand is already at 5 cards. So
That is a downside for pre-barrel.
Yep.
So here comes the first Industrious Incisors. I think Kenfa is looking for an energy. His Arceus only has a dark energy, I believe. A singular dark basic energy.
well, he's definitely looking for an energy, but not a basic dark.
Yeah,
because
he
he discarded the basic dark early
Yeah.
on already. So
He needs a double turbo. I think he's trying to dig for it. So it looks like most likely a second Industrious Incisors coming here.
yep, that Ultra Ball pickup was great, allowing King Fai to remove cards that are not really required, essentially.
Yeah, allows him to draw cards.
So you see a Evolution Incense here,
Oh,
and now the
a
Starburst.
beast
So
star power has
Yeah.
come.
pretty much going through all methods to get cards that are, well, you can't select those cards. You're drawing cards off the top of your deck, and now only now using that V-Star power.
Yeah.
So King Fai's position was never in doubt.
Yeah, I keep forgetting because people always play their Starburst turn too when they have
Yep,
it.
pretty much, pretty much.
I
But
guess
this is a mark of an experienced player,
Yeah,
knowing when
exactly.
exactly to play, you know, the abilities.
and that's why it's here. That's why it's here as well. So we do see a power pack coming down. Getting back some supporters back. Didn't really catch what. Most probably a boss and probably one other supporter. We do see a double turbo energy. And a Trinity Nova here for 210 with the choice belt attached. To the Arceus V-Star on
Yep.
Kenshin side.
Yep, pretty much. This is again a 2-hit, pretty much a 2-shot game plan here from King Fai.
This is setting up for his Malama VMAX to take a knockout as well if Kenjun didn't get another Charon Scare perhaps.
Well, that's not something you see very often. A DTE on a Moltres.
Yeah, I'm pretty perplexed by that as well. I somewhat couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that double turbo on the Moltres, but it is true.
Maybe a way to retreat later on. I'm
Yeah.
not too sure.
Maybe it's a pivot, yeah.
Or could be a way to just make sure that it's able to have an energy attachment, so that it's now only 2 darkness energies away from attacking.
Yeah. Most probably true. So Kenjun does have his results available soon when it
but-
does come out.
Hey, well, he got Marnie
No.
down to 4
that's
earlier,
right.
and now it's
Mm.
just a Trinity Nova.
Yeah, that Trinity Nova is gonna start shuffling his deck again, so perhaps drawing into
Yeah.
those results soon. I think that's what his game plan is.
Yeah, those results, if you recall, were put back underneath the deck
Yeah.
due to the Marnie from
Exactly.
King Fai.
Yeah, exactly. So exchanging blows again, Trinity Nova, and we're back to essentially a 2-hit game again.
Yeah, now back to King Fai's turn. He's looking for options at this point.
We're probably gonna see the Malama coming up next. I think he doesn't want to let this Arceus V-Star goes down, and yeah, he is gonna retreat the Arceus V-Star, and the Malama VMAX has been promoted to the active position, and a Max Jammer is gonna be initiated here. Has to look at your opponent's hand
Oh,
and
that's
like,
not a good hand at all.
Oh,
Much.
no.
That's pretty much a DTE, a Sharpshooting Inteleon, a Sobble, and an Arceus V. So this Max Jammer here, well, not many good targets, I would say, but going for the Arceus V essentially.
yeah, it goes to the bottom of the deck.
It's debatable. There weren't any cards that essentially would
Yeah.
give Kenzun a fighting chance in this matchup at this point. So in this game, I should say at this point. So now, did Kingfai just turn a corner here? It seems like he has.
That Marnie,
That Marnie,
yeah, really killed that. Really turned that game around.
Yeah, exactly.
And looks like that Moltres is the pivot here with the DTE attached.
Okay, so Kenzen now taking his turn.
Wasn't
Seems like
sure
he's
what-
considering something here. But I don't see a snap response like, you know, I top deck something that
Yeah,
I can play.
they-
I didn't see that excitement or anything like that, so.
Looks like this is gonna be a not so much of a turn here from Kenzian.
Yep, just the Rapid Strike Inteleon with its sharp shooting ability. Well, you put pretty much 2 damage counters on anywhere on your opponent's side of the field. Oh, he did
Oh,
get something. He
holy-
got the Presence Research
wow.
off the top. How
What
did
a-
we not catch that?
I mean, it's so shiny.
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, so Snap plays 7 cards off, and that's the Arceus V-Star.
That's so big.
Yep. So now he has an attacker. Does he have the energy? Oh, there's a training card. That's
Oh,
a good way to get energy back.
That's energy for you.
So rewind time a little bit to game 1. Ensign did play a card that could have dislodged that path to the peak. He just didn't get it.
Yeah, he just missed it, I assume. Unfortunately, because he didn't have access to Drizzles during
Yeah.
that game. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
unfortunate. And looks like Tenzin's probably going to start hitting into this Malma VMAX. Start pressuring Kangfai's Pokemon. Because essentially his attackers are now all damaged with this upcoming Trinity Nova.
Yep, that is true. That is true. We see it all? Okay, you're not sure what that was. Alright, so we're going to see an Ultra Ball here from Kenzen. And I say he needed energy, but there was already a Dark Energy under that Arceus V-Star. It's just hidden a little bit under that DTE, so he was ready to go regardless. Now we see an Inteleon as well, off the Ultra Ball. Ooh. Grabbing a Drizzle instead, so it was almost going to be an Inteleon.
I was wondering.
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
see a Drizzle in play.
Yep, so here comes the Drizzle. Alright, and so just to clarify for our viewers there, time has essentially been called here by the judge. We've had pretty much a long game, and now time's called, and I believe Kenzen is the one now who has, who is on turn 0 at this point, right?
Yeah.
So he'll have essentially 2 turns to see if he can eke out a tie here.
Oh, it's gonna be really close.
It's gonna be close. I
It's
think it's gonna
really,
be
really
really
close.
close here. But then again, I think about it for a moment. I don't believe he has enough turns to get all.
Yeah, because this
prizes
Malva
here.
VMAX is pretty tanky.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of
there's
hit
no
points.
way for an Arceus V-Star to deal 310 damage off the bat
No,
at this
it's
point.
not possible. I think he's trying to get a rundown of what resources he has left, possibly. But no, looks like he's just scooping up with the time call as well. Looks like he thinks that he just can't make it. Not enough time.
Yeah, pretty much. And now we have pretty much a situation where that game 1 win
Yeah, it was
From
so
Kangfai.
crucial.
has pretty much gotten him the win here in Swiss. What a game, Darren.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see that Malma VMAX get to set the tempo of the game in game 1.
Yep.
After a Marnie and a Max Jammer, it essentially just turned off the whole deck of Kenzian's deck.
For sure, and I think we have to call out the MVP card of that game 1, Path of the Peak. You don't
Yeah.
have your copies, go get some right now. That card essentially defined game 1 for both these players. We didn't see a single Starbirth that entire game 1 because neither of them could ever dislodge it. Kangfire discarded his Pumpkaboo. Kenzen could not draw into the training card that we know he had. There was no way to dislodge it. Both these players didn't have access to Starbirth. But in that game, Bibarel came out on top.
Yeah, B-Barrel definitely was the I guess the
Semi
next
MVP.
MVP. Yeah, the next MVP besides the Path to the Peak in conjunction with it. It got out of the active position and then that just brings out the Arceus V-Star and start attacking and just steamrolled throughout that game.
Definitely. I think overall both these players showed why they are even here in the first place. Both playing flawlessly in both these game 1 and game 2. It's just unfortunate that the amount of time didn't allow for the game 2 to complete.
Yeah, exactly.
So pretty much they're essentially the round 1 here at the Pokemon TCG 2021-2022 Championships here in Malaysia. My name is Aaron, this is Darren. We're going to throw you to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back at round 2 very shortly.
See you.
Pokémon, Pokémon cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match your Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon. Now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the witness now or never. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take 1 for a regular, take 2 if it's a Pokemon V. Take 3 cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you win the game. Retreat to the bench, your Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items for the stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. And Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. The combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon, Pokemon cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokemon, Pokemon cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Smiles all around, the joy that I found. Shall we go one more round? Pokemon, Pokemon cat.
Alright, Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pokemon Trading Card Game 2021-2022 Championships here in Malaysia. My name is Aaron. This is Darren. What did we just see in round 1, Darren?
Man, round one was essentially a steamroll because of game 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Path to the Peak stayed so long from turn 1 all the way to the end. That's not much you can do if you don't draw a stadium out.
Yeah, we saw 2 RCS decks duke it out in round 1. And of course, now we have a round 2 coverage coming right up. We will essentially be showing, well, I can safely say these are new decks for our viewers. So you're going to see something a bit more different. It's pretty diverse here in sunny Malaysia in terms of what these players are bringing for this tournament. Again, this is essentially the tournament to define who will be the best player in Malaysia. And I think at this point, we have our players setting up. But before that, I think we have to really thank all you viewers at home there or joining us from wherever you are to tune in. Share this link, share the socials, get more and more people to find out that Pokemon Trading Card Game in Malaysia is up and running. In real life events are back after all that we've gone through in a couple of years.
It's been a long time. It's since 2019 with the pandemic hit after that.
Yep.
We couldn't do much, everything was online, and now we get to play cards again. Get to feel the cards and get to play, interact with people again. The community is all, everything.
Yep, for sure. And I think at this point of time, I'm just excited to be involved again in the Pokemon Trading Card Game. As you say, it's been a long 2 years. We still have people here taking the necessary precautions, which is great. It's good having people come and wanting to enjoy the Pokemon Trading Card Game here together. We also have to say though that the players who are playing this event are a good mix of players who have been around for quite some time, as well as those that have been around for maybe just very recently. We know that Pokemon Trading Card Game has gotten a spike in interest over the last couple of years, both from players and collectors. So I think overall we've pretty much had a boom, I should say, in the Pokemon Trading Card Game here in Malaysia.
Especially collectors, I think.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic was hit, we couldn't play, so the only thing was collecting cards at that time. So that was a boom, definitely a boom of collectors during that time. I think now with the precautions and all, still good. But the pandemic has died down a bit, and we get to have our in real life playing again. I think the players are starting to come out of the shadows, and we get to play like we used to again.
Yeah, for sure. And I have to throw this back also with lots of thanks to the 2 main teams that are essentially making this possible. We have ESL, who's running the stream event for today, and also for the Pokemon Company, who is essentially graciously organized this event pretty much for our players to showcase their skills. And now while we're waiting for the players to set up, let's maybe talk about these players. I'll throw it to you for introducing the first player.
Well, first we have Mr. Artavan Akilan, seasoned player as well, back from 2016 all the way to 2019. His most recent achievement was the North American International Championships back in 2019 in Columbus, Ohio. He was top 64. So yeah, I think that's pretty good recognition right there, with also multiple top 8s and top 64s in multiple tournaments before that.
Yep, great stuff. And also, to be fair, Artavan has been a staple of our community for many years now. I should say we used to travel all the way back in 2015 and 2017. Someone that's always been putting the community first, and now getting a chance at representing Malaysia as their top player. We also have opposite him essentially, we have Liu Chi Hao, who will be also pretty much in this situation of moving 1 win away from the final rounds of Switch, which will determine the winner of this whole event. So Liu Chi Hao, a fairly new player, not many accolades to mention, but he's just as excited to be here as anyone else. And while we get some information on where these players what are these players playing, what's the setup going, I must say also that, are you going to be seeing Arceus in this round 2, Darren?
More likely.
Great, so we will be seeing a little bit of Arceus. We can definitely share with you. Maybe we can share the matchup at this point. We just got it in. So Artavan is playing.
He's essentially playing Arceus. Well,
okay,
it's Arceus V-Star, with a lot of friends essentially. Arceus and friends.
All right.
It's like a box. It's a multiple different friends of attackers, but essentially Arceus V-Star is there to start powering up his friends, and then they can start attacking depending on the matchup that he feels like it.
Yep, I think we can definitely say that at this point of time we are still waiting on some technical issues, and we are going to get checked on that by the judges and whatnot. Apologies for everyone at home who was waiting for this match to set up. Maybe I just pivot over to a different topic altogether while we wait. What is your favorite card coming out of the Brilliant Stars set?
Arceus V-Star.
Okay, that's very quick, and I think I would go as far as to say that Arceus Vista may be the poster child of the set,
Yeah, it's
but
definitely the poster
there are
child.
so many other cards in that set which really define a type of deck or define a type of card. My current favorite has to be Whimsicott V-Star.
Ooh, the spicy one.
All the Arceus fans in the chat completely just not wanting to talk to me anymore. So yeah, so I think overall Brilliant Stars has brought a good variety to the format. We have Arceus decks, obviously. We also have Whimsicott come about. There are quite a few other notable cards, but the sad reality here is that we are just maybe a couple of weeks away from Astral
Astral
Radiance, the new set coming up. And I know there's been spoilers on release
Yeah.
online everywhere. I'm excited as much as anyone because it's going to be the next step of the V-Star cards, right? We have
Yeah.
the Darkrai V-Star coming up in
Yes.
this set. And Darkrai has always been getting good cards. We go back all the way in the past, Darkrai EX, right? We had Darkrai GX as well. And now we have Darkrai V-Star. So definitely a card that, we will be looking forward to. What are you looking forward to from Astral Radiance?
I'm actually looking forward to the Radiant Pokemon.
Sorry, say again?
The Radiant Pokemon.
Radiant Pokemon, alright.
Yeah.
Great stuff, great stuff. And great stuff, we finally have an update on the leaderboard. This is essentially the leaderboard for Swiss round number 1. At first place, we have Chihao, second Lee King-Fai, who we just saw in round 1. Artavan on third, and Yong Junsin also rounding out that top 4. And essentially now we will have a match between two players from that top 4 in round 2 before we go into round 3, which defines pretty much the finals in this setup.
Yeah.
In case you guys are not, anyone else at home not really familiar with the format, we are essentially playing Swiss, but the ranking system essentially comes into play so that we know which players are going to be paired up with which player. It's a little unique, but it's what we're going to have. So at this stage, we have Liu Chihao versus Artavan Akilan in round number 2. While the players are getting ready set up. Technical issues aside, we will get there. I want to go back to the Radiant Pokemon you mentioned about. What was the Radiant Pokemon you wanted to say?
Radiant Greninja.
Radiant Greninja.
Yeah. And also Radiant Hawlucha. Yeah.
Great. So now that we rounded off, let's go introduce our players one more time. We have Artavan Akilan and Liu Chihao. Please introduce Artavan one more time, if you don't mind, Darren.
So Artavan is a seasoned player all the way back to 2016 for competitive side. His most recent accolade is definitely the 2019 North American International Championships, which he reached top 64.
Wow,
So
great
that's
stuff.
pretty good accolade itself.
Great stuff, great stuff. And Liu Chihao, again, a fairly new player in our midst, but definitely a player that has caliber. Coming all the way into this event as a new player definitely isn't something to scoff at. And now we see what's happening here. On Artavan's side, I feel a Bidoof and a Arceus V with a DTE. And now we see a completely different deck. It's a Genesect V, a Fusion Strike Genesect V.
Ooh, I
on
wonder
Liu Chihao.
what deck it is.
I mean, you don't have to wonder too much. It's essentially going to be Mew. There's not a deck that plays this, right?
Yeah.
And we immediately see a Crabomatic on the first turn. I believe that was a Tails.
Now, Mew decks tend to be explosive turn 1 and turn 2, so
Mhm.
we get to see whether he gets to accomplish that. This turn 1 and turn 2 essentially defines this whole matchup, essentially, for Liu Chihao.
Yep, and I do apologize to our viewers at home on the glare. We'll try our best to figure out what those cards are, especially when players are bringing all the bling for
Yeah.
this competition. We want to ensure that we get the right information across to viewers at home. It seems that's an Ultra Ball, discarding the Pumpkaboo and a Fusion Strike Energy, and we will see
A
a
Mew.
Mew,
Yeah.
right?
So
Okay,
that
Mew V.
discard of the Fusion Strike Energy may come to bite him back later on.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, these decks are essentially running on Elisa Sparkle, being the card that accelerates energy for Mew decks.
Yeah.
I'm not a very seasoned Mew player. I've had a handful of games. I prefer so many other different decks in the format. It's such a vibrant format as it is.
Yeah.
But if a player can take Mew all the way this far, I trust that they know what they're doing, and this is essentially their path to victory, in this particular matchup.
Well, Mew decks tend to be, start attacking turn 1, turn 2, but we don't see a Maluera turn 1.
Yeah,
don't
we have
see-
not. We've only seen, so I believe that's one of the Fusion Strike systems already used.
Yeah.
And
here
here's
comes
the second one. And it's only for 3 cards, so
Not a great start here.
yeah, and just a pass. No
Oh.
energy attachment for turn for Chihao, and just a couple of tools, and immediately we see the Arceus V-Star come down for Artavan with the fighting energy to boot. That Arceus is ready. If he can get the Bidoof out of the active, which I believe he should be able to.
He technically should, because he does have access to Starbirth. Wow, wow. Surprise.
Well, let's not discount the Mew deck in this situation. Even though they're a turn behind, all they need essentially is one card, and the entire deck runs.
Yeah, it's gonna be explosive
we
once they
s-
start running.
We see a feature of the Typhlosion EX from EX Sandstorm all the way back.
Good
And
throwback.
good throwback, and that essentially was Artavan's
V-Star marker.
V-Star marker, right?
So he's gonna start Starbirth here for 2 cards from his deck to get his attackers out, and maybe a way to get his Bidoof out the active position.
Yep, for sure. I believe that should be the case.
His game plan is probably gonna be just charge up his attackers and just hope that the Mew don't start exploding out of turn 2, turn 3. That's
Yeah, which we know Mew decks can do, but I think at this point for Chihao, he's just hoping to draw into something, because a Fusion Strike system for 3 doesn't get you much, and the fact that there was no energy drop for that turn, it's I think it's definitely gonna bite him back later on.
yeah. We do see an Ultra Ball here discarding a double turbo and a fighting energy from
Okay.
Artavan.
Great. Will we see something? We see a Crobat. It's a Crobat. Alright, Crobat
Alright,
V
Crobat
going
V.
to the hand. Crobat here with the ability that pretty much allows you, I think it's Dark Asset if I recall correctly,
Dark
that allows
Asset.
you to draw up to 6 cards. So it's a slightly stronger Bibarel.
But
in
you only
terms-
can use it one time.
You're gonna use it one time. There's
When
no
you
way
put it down,
to
yeah.
bounce back a
Oh, we
the
see a
V.
boss order.
Oh, that is huge. A boss order here,
And there's a Crobat. Oh,
or 6 fresh cards.
oh my goodness.
What is he missing? He's not missing anything. This is a knockout, isn't it? Mew
Yeah.
has 180
Yeah,
hit
180 hit points is not gonna survive, and Chihao doesn't have any other Mew in play, and he's gonna be set back another turn without an attacker. Maybe Meloetta can get an attack, but I'm not really sure with his current hand.
Well, even if Meloetta gets an attack off, the one thing you have to know here was that there was essentially a miss energy drop on turn 1,
Yes, it's so big.
and it was a Fusion Strike energy being discarded.
Yeah,
So even though you might get up a Meloetta, you're not gonna get much from it essentially. You're
Yeah.
gonna get at most 210 damage from a Meloetta's Echo, which you
That's
shouldn't even be talking about because you have not even seen a Meloetta right now.
yeah. But
Uh,
in general, we should expect soon some form of Meloetta, as
Well-
most Mew decks always tend to have Meloetta. But then back to Artavan, he's looking in prime position here. Another Arceus powered up. Crobat even has an energy. So maybe a pivot later on. But he does have, if I'm not mistaken, air balloon on his Bidoof. And we see a boss order coming down onto the Arceus
And
V.
just a pass from Chihao.
Oh no.
For all the Mew players in the chat, are y'all feeling this? Because I'm feeling it right now. This is not how Mew is supposed to be playing.
Mew is supposed to start drawing cards non-stop. But this is not a good representation of Mew here, unfortunately, for this game.
Yep, it's interesting though that we're seeing here some fighting energies being played by Artavan, and it remains to be seen. There's a mix of fighting and dark energies in his deck. We haven't seen anything else,
Yeah,
and we wouldn't want to spoil it for anyone. Let's see if you are able to be as keen-eyed as we are to see what are the options in that deck. We
So-
do see a quick ball, again a retro quick ball and a retro judge being discarded for it. So a lot of retro cards making an appearance. That's a Glitter Moltres V.
So Dire Flame Wing ability, able to get an energy powered up, and is also a dark attacker.
Mm-hmm.
Very
That's
good
true.
against Mew.
Very good
because
against Mew.
Mew is weak to dark. So essentially, Artavan is in the driver's seat at the moment. He doesn't have much to worry about at the moment. There's no Mew in play, so there's no such thing as a Mew VMAX coming out
Mhm.
this turn.
That is true, and I think this Glitter Moltres V that you see on your screen here on the left is essentially the card that you want to have if a Mew ever comes down. Aura Burn for 190 damage. Yeah, you're hitting yourself back for 30, but you're essentially taking a knockout on a potentially a Mew VMAX that gives you 3 prizes. And a Glitter Moltres V can come out of nowhere. With Dire Flame Wings, with cards like Energy Switch or Raihan, things like that.
Oh, and we do see a dark energy coming down. This Trinity Nova is going to do 200 damage because it doesn't have a double turbo attached, so it's doing a cool 200. Taking
Yeah,
out the
that is
Genesect.
true. That is 4 prizes now for Arthur as early as turn 3.
That is so
And
big.
it looks like Xiao, yep, Xiao
Yep.
is scooping it. That's not how my deck's supposed to work,
Yeah,
he says.
unfortunately.
And now he's gonna try again in game number 2 here. So, a very quick game 1, not by the deck that usually goes crazy on the first couple of turns. But now we are able to see a bit more or maybe of what Chihao is able to bring to the table in this game too. I hope he doesn't run into those issues again. Mew decks 9.5 times out of 10 will give you a game,
Yeah.
but that was that 0.5 time,
Oh,
unfortunately. And it happened
unfortunate.
in this situation here at the championships.
Yeah, it tends to happen. I think it's pretty much a remembrance to earlier game where the
Oh, yeah.
Italian line supposed to be the most consistent deck. Mew as well, supposed to be one of the most explosive, consistent deck that draws a lot of cards early on. But not doing it in game 1 is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the sad reality of, the Pokemon trading card game in some ways, but also the fact that Mew as a deck has an opportunity to have explosive turns that see you doing upwards of 210 damage on turn 1, right?
Yeah.
And then this is the direct opposite of that, where we're seeing the deck just not able to draw the right cards.
There was no supporter.
There's no supporter.
Just a boss in mid game, like the second turn, but that's not the ideal supporter that he wants to
Yeah.
play. Yeah, he didn't get out any other fusion Pokemon out, so he can't draw as much.
Yep,
So
that's
really
true.
unfortunate. I don't think he even played a other than an Ultra Ball. There's no Quick Ball played as well. I don't
Yep.
think.
No fog crystals, nothing of the
Yeah.
sort. We didn't see anything else. We see here that Chihao did mulligan on his first draw, so Arthurwan will get 1 card off the top. Remains to be seen who starts off first at this point. Players, of course, can decide in this best of 3 who would go first between them.
It's gonna be a pretty interesting on who going first,
Yeah,
because Mew can explode on its turn. If you're going second, Mew can still do what he wants to do.
yeah, pretty much. We see a second mulligan here, so not great here for Chihao. No basic Pokemon in 2 consecutive hands.
So far, I'm not sure if Chiao is feeling pretty good here. Giving 2 extra cards to Arwen here in his opening hand might be a bit of a disadvantage here.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment to appreciate the accessories the players have brought in here, especially the sleeves. Those are really nice sleeves, Darren.
Yeah, those are really, really nice.
The Lucario ones and even the Golden Pikachu 25th anniversary ones. Let's see if there is a basic Pokemon. No, for the
not
third turn
again.
now.
Oh
For the
my
third,
goodness.
third time this particular game, no basic in hand, and
Oh no,
Arthurwan getting 3 extra cards to work with
not
on
like this.
his turn 1.
Oh no. Pretty much, Arwen is just ready to go. There's no Pokemon to fight with yet.
Yep, for sure. Let's
Or maybe 4th time's the charm. There's a card on the left over. There it is. So we'll see if Chihao gets a basic.
we've yet to see in play Arthurwan's text or Arthurwan's deck.
Or
The
friends,
cards which
yeah.
which are using that fighting energy.
Yeah.
Now we are not going to say that out loud. Obviously, we want to make sure that it's a little bit more of a surprise for viewers at home. So let's keep it at that. But let's see if we're even going to get a game. Looks like we
there
will.
is.
Yep, great stuff.
Alright.
So Chihao has finally drawn a basic Pokemon. I believe he'll be starting. Okay, well, other one is
Mulligan.
drawing the 3 cards for the Mull.
Alright, so Arceus start.
Yep, and it's against Mew, and Chihao's Elite has opted to go first as well. And this time, I believe, he has a Battle VIP pass.
Oh,
Great
man,
stuff. So this is we have a game. Essentially,
Yeah.
we have a game.
We
Without
def-
even looking at the cards in his hand, yeah, we have a game, right? So Battle VIP pass, a card, a staple, essentially in the deck for Mew. Apologies for technical issue there. Battle VIP pass, you can use this card only during your first turn, which is where you want to have it, and that's why you run 4 of it. You
But-
get to search out your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. And I find that Mew decks love having bench Pokemon, Darren.
Oh, they really would like to have more fusion Pokemon in play, don't we?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so Genesect's ability is to draw up to the Pokemon, Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, so the more you push Fusion type Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play, the more cards you draw. And so that's how the Mew decks generally are as an engine, to keep drawing non-stop and to have an explosive turn to attack. And Battle VIP Pass essentially helps that goal. We do see the card that we've been talking about in Game 1, which is the Maloera, has appeared. We'll see what else he is gonna play.
That's Ultra Ball discarding the Power Tablet and a boss. Well, at least for what it's worth, Chihao here has an opportunity to draw into resources that make sense for the next turn, when
Yeah.
attacks are finally live for him. And let's see what he grabbed. I want to say that's a Mew.
I want to say
VMAX?
that's a Mew as well. but
Yeah.
unfortunately, with the glare, we can't really make sure of it. But so far, it's a pretty good start here from Chihao. Better than Game 1. That's definitely. And we're probably going to see the Genesec's ability come to play. Here he is. I believe it's called Fusion Strike System, I believe. He's going to draw up to 5 cards in play, and he has another Battle VIP pass.
Yep, that Bell VIP pass essentially making sure that Chihao has a setup on this first turn, right? That's what Mew needs to keep going. That's what fuels, as you say, Genesect V's Fusion Strike system, allowing you to draw up to a maximum of 6 cards. Imagine if you had a way to have more bench Pokemon in this format.
Oh, that would be ultimately broken, I assume.
Well, if you're gonna play expanded, who knows? You might throw in a what's the word? Skyfield?
Skyfield, I
Yeah,
believe.
from all the way back in Evolve.
No, I can't really remember the name of the
Yeah,
expansion.
it's been some years.
Yeah. But it looks like another Malware has hit the field, not a Genesect. So
Yep, maybe, I don't know, if you're gonna go for a second Malware here, are your Genesec's prized? Or are you opting to go this route because you know that you're gonna be aggressive with Meloedas?
maybe he's trying to be aggressive, but it also could serve like a pivot just in case later on if he needs to sacrifice a Pokemon. If he doesn't draw the cards he needs. So we do see
Yep,
the
it's
Mew
yeah.
retreated to the Malware.
That
Yeah.
signals to me that he has something going on his second turn here
Yeah.
for Chihao. But now it's over to Artavan.
And
We see an Ultra Ball discarding the Lucario V-Star.
so those
Now
are one
that
of
is
the
going to be
friends.
interesting. Yeah, one of the friends he mentioned that we
Yeah.
will try not to spoil for viewers at home. Lucario V-Star here, the option that Artavan have taken to pair with Arceus, and now you see it on the left of your screen. The Fighting Knuckle dealing 120 base, but if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V, it deals twice as much, so 240 damage.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. And of course, Aura Star, the V-Star power, note that you can't use it if you already use Starbird, obviously. But the attack does 70 for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. In a pinch, that 2 energy requirement could deal a lot of damage.
Yeah. It could punish a lot of, especially Arceus based decks. Yeah, it could be a surprise attack coming out, and maybe your opponent will just stump from there on.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. We see a DTE now onto the Arceus V. And a judge being played here by Artavan.
Beautiful judge.
A beautiful judge, yeah, for sure. And we now pretty much will see this deck work as intended with a Dart Pokemon. It's a Hoopa V, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a Hoopa V.
Yeah, Hoopa V. Another card which covers quite a bit of matchups in the format. It has an ability that makes it dual typing, where it's Psychic as well as Dark.
Yeah.
Two-faced, that's the ability. And of course, with an attack called Shadow Impact that deals 170, that too is enough to take a knockout on a Mew VMAX.
Yeah, essentially, even with any sort of minus damage per se from Mew
The
VMAX,
Oricorio, yep,
Yeah,
even if it's
Oricorio.
Oricorio, yep.
yeah, it still knocks it out. So I must say, it is a pretty good like anti-meta kind of card. To
If the
help-
meta is Mew.
yeah, if the meta is Mew, but also against maybe Urshifu decks.
Yeah,
you know?
that is true.
Because
That is true.
Urshifu is weak to Psychic, and Hoopa V's ability is makes it a Psychic type as well.
Yep, for sure, for sure. I think this is a very spicy brew here coming up from Artavan. He's taken it through the qualifiers and now playing it here on the big stage in the Pokemon Trading Card Game Championship Malaysia.
We do see a Crobat coming out from the Ultra Ball, discarding Fighting Energy.
What is Artavan looking for here? I think with what he has in play, the setup looks pretty strong.
I think he has pretty much the cards he needs.
Yeah.
But I think just want to make his hand stronger, perhaps.
Yep. I think a second Arceus makes sense, or even like another one of the techs that he might be bringing. It seems like he's making room for another bench Pokemon. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah. You see an Arceus V-Star hits the bench,
Mhm.
just in case the active gets knocked out.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we now see a Trinity Charge
Yes, Trinity
for
Charge.
3 basic energies. No damage coming out for Arceus V. It's only the Arceus V Star that does damage when it accelerates energy. But of course, Trinity Charge for just a DTE on your turn 1 going second.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's...
I didn't think you can ask more from that. That's pretty ideal for an Arceus going second.
Yep. And we see a Dark Energy coming down onto the Crobat V as well. And that's a Tails for Cramomatic, I believe? Or was that a hit?
I think it's a hit.
Okay, that was a hit. Alright, so that's a hit. Cramomatic. A card that Mew decks has opted to play because it allows you to search your deck for
Any card.
any card
If you flip hits.
as long as you discard an item as well as flip hits.
That's a lot of conditions, but I think they're willing to risk the biscuit.
Well, also for the fact that you are essentially going to draw more using your Fusion Strike systems.
Yes, exactly.
Because of that, you're discarding 2 cards to grab 1 that you need. You're probably going to play that card that you need, and then now you can draw 3 more cards.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you can start drawing non-stop from Fusion Strike system, and that's essentially how the deck functions.
Yep, for sure. Now, the question is whether Chihao is able to get something going this turn. And when I mean something, an attack going this
Yeah,
turn.
he most likely would like to get a knockout on this Arceus V here. He has to be an aggressor since he goes first.
Mhm.
So in this case, Mew is explosive if he gets the first attack in that does
Okay.
damage.
We see the first piece of the puzzle, which is an Elisa Sparkle.
Yeah. So
This card choosing 2 of your Fusion Strike Pokemon first, and then looking through a deck for a Fusion Strike energy to attach to them, 1 each, obviously. And he's opted to choose both the Meloedas.
ooh, interesting way of playing. This strategy is pretty spicy from Chihao.
Well, I think it's quite straightforward here. You won't want to give up your Muse, knowing that there is a Hoopa on the opponent's side.
Yeah, that's a lot of dark Pokemon.
Yeah.
So maybe he's opting for just a one prizer route.
Yep. Maybe at this point that is the preferred route to go for. We
Don't-
talked about this earlier on in the first turn. Why did he go for a double Meloedas instead of like maybe 1 more Genesect? But having now 2 Meloedas here would make sense, considering that there's so many ways that Artavan has pretty much prepared for if there's a Mew VMAX in play. So going this single prizer route, and I believe that's just a
That's a psychic.
basic psychic, so that's not a Fusion Strike energy.
That's only doing 140 damage.
Yep, Melo's Echo doing 140. That is way off from the 220 that you need
Oh,
for an
that's-
Arceus V.
Fortunate. Ultra Ball. This is a pretty interesting route here from Chihao. I thought he was going to go for the full-on Meloetta route with Fusion Strike energy attached, but he did attach the Psychic energy. This is not enough to knock out the Arceus V. He might need to dig out more modifiers from the deck, perhaps Choice Belt and also Power Tablets. Not really sure what he aims to do here. We do see the, if I'm not mistaken, the Pumpkaboo get discarded as well. Yep, he got discarded with the Ultra Ball. So he's going for another Fusion Strike system. Pretty interesting game plan. Interesting
Yep,
game plan
maybe the
indeed.
prizes are not as great for Chihao at this point of time.
Maybe so.
Maybe not ideal, and hence the route he has to go with this time. So we will probably not be seeing a knockout here, but we will see at least an attack going off. But it just plays into Artavan's game plan here because the Arceus survives to see another turn, and another turn means an attack.
Yeah. And an Arceus V-Star would most likely come down and start attacking into that as well. But Chihao, he really has to think about his options here coming the next few turns. Not an explosive Mew that's as we all used to. And we see only a 140 damage here from the Meloera's Melodious Echo damage. Back to Arwen, he is using Quick Ball.
Yep, Retro Quick Ball from the Diamond and Pearl era. And let's see what he grabs here.
He does have a few share of options to pick from. His Arceus didn't get knocked out. He has his Dark Pokemons available, so not really sure what else he's going for.
Yeah, maybe he was expecting for the Arceus to get knocked out.
I think he did.
But now that it's not, maybe a shift in game plan a little bit to now take the initiative, I have to say.
Yeah. Since now he has technically in the driver's seats again.
Yep, it goes for Luminion,
Oh, Luminion V.
which allows you to search out for a supporter, and that's a boss's order.
Ooh.
That's the card you want to see. So Luminion V with the ability Luminous Sign allows you to search your deck for a supporter card and put in your hand.
And we do see an Arceus V-Star does come down. So
Yep, so
Starbuff is available and looks like he's gonna play it. There it is.
yep, using
Typhlosion-
Starbirth here. Probably for the energy that's missing, I think.
Yeah. Typhlosion EX back again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gonna be a pretty big turn here from us, from Artavan with this Arceus V-Star in play, having probably energy attached soon. Start charging up his attackers again. Do know that he does use Trinity Charge earlier, so now he's gonna get more energy into play.
Yeah, this time with Trinity Nova from Arceus V-Star. Pretty much the card that we've been seeing all through today, this afternoon here in sunny Malaysia. We've seen an Arceus, technically Arceus mirror match with different, partners in round 1. We see Arceus now again taking a knockout on a Mew
Ooh, that's a
with Trinity
big
Nova
knockout.
for 180 damage, and now grabbing more energy out from the deck. And both the I believe the Hoopa
And the
and
Crobat.
again the Crobat are both ready at this point.
This is pretty ahead here in terms of advantage for Artavan.
No sign of any, no sign of any Lucario.
Yeah, no, I don't think Lucario is gonna make an appearance this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, staring down weaknesses from Meloetta as well as Mew. Probably not the matchup that you want to use Lucario in. Although we did get to see, the card end up in the discard pile, so we know that card is in the deck.
Yeah, it does exist in his deck.
Then I believe it's a quick ball, discarding an escape rope, I think, from Chihao. Let's see how he plans to come back from this. What can he do?
Because I'm not sure what prizes he has in Pokemon, or what cards are essentially in his prize, so we don't know that information. But at the moment, most likely he's gonna get another Mew V out, because he needs to start attacking with Mew VMAX soon.
I don't think so. I think maybe leading this Meloetta route is fine. The question is how much damage can you do with Meloetta? You need to get those Fusion Strike energies in, I guess. But yeah, it just seems like just getting a Mew here.
It is an interesting play.
Yeah.
But once Meloetta start getting knocked out, your Fusion Strike energies are going to the discard pile.
Yep, that's true. That's
So
true.
Melodious Echo does less damage when you don't have Fusion Strike energy. Hence, this strategy might be a little flawed.
Yep.
But he is in this top 8 essentially for the tournament. He has dug further than everyone in this tournament. So he is the Mew player for the tournament.
Yeah, that's true. And we probably missed it. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but there is a path to the peak now in
Oh
play.
yes, exactly.
So there's no excessive Fusion Strike system, and maybe that's why Chihao has just opted to just promote the Meloetta and take a knockout, at least getting my 2 prizes, he says. But what happens next, it's really up to the Pokemon gods at
Yeah.
this stage. Up to Arceus himself to grant the Mew deck some reprieve from what's been going on this past couple of turns.
That's a lot of puzzle pieces here needed from Chihao. He needs another stadium in play. He needs maybe another Alessa Sparkle to start attacking more efficiently, because most likely this Meloetta is gonna get knocked out. And then he lose access to another Fusion Strike energy. Less damage will be dealt. Not sure. And we do see Artavan is contemplating on which play he wanna do here. He does have a lot of options.
Yeah, so probably leading with the Hoopa here. Does he have anything else going for him?
He just opted to retreat the Bidoof with the air balloon.
Oh,
You
yes,
see
the
a
second boss.
order again.
The
Oh
follow-up
my.
boss here, going for the second Mew in a row. This time using the Hoopa. And that's a
Oh.
knockout right there.
Oh no. That's such a destructive moment.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to play anything else at this point. It's just about going after all these Mews. And well, Chihao now has a chance to use Fitness Strike system again. The training card is gonna bump the path to the peak.
That training card.
Is it too little, too late though?
Oh, I think it is. AEON is pretty far ahead. 2 prizes left to Chihao's 4.
Mhm.
He needs to get a knockout this turn, or he'll be really far behind.
Yeah, he has quite a large hand here right now. I'm not sure what those options are, but we see a power tablet. Okay, that's a start. Attaches an air balloon.
Chihao needs to somehow get the Meloera to knock out this Hoopa V.
Drops an Orikoru as well. So just trying to play cards now at this stage.
I think just need to dig for the right cards with this Fusion Strike system here.
Yeah.
Like all or nothing on this Fusion Strike system. That Meloera really has to put in effort. Going for the
Okay.
Luminion.
Yep, so a boss order here to go for the Luminion. And I guess it's just to thin one more card so that he can
Three
draw
cards.
3 cards off the first Fusion Strike system. The question is there anything else?
Ah, not sure.
Okay,
This
we
is-
see a Psychic Energy attachment to the active Mew.
We did see a power tablet play, so that Meloera does a base 140. So with the power
Mhm.
tablet is 170, which is enough to knock out the Luminion.
Yep, so I think Chihao now just playing out cards to thin his hand for the second Fusion Strike system. That was a quick ball discarding the Elisa Sparkle, and then also playing a Fog Crystal. And I would believe he's opting not to grab anything. Yep, so shuffling up, not grabbing anything, thinning his hand down to make sure that he's able to draw more cards at this point.
It is pretty interesting to see a Mew deck essentially not attacking with Mew. It's
Well, it's a Fusion Strike deck, right? It's a Fusion Strike deck with so many options. Here is 4 cards from the second Fusion Strike system.
Can he get what he needs?
Okay, this is interesting.
I don't think he's looking. He got what he's looking for.
It's going for a dig again. So this is a
Chromomatic.
Chromomatic. Yep. Is that a hits or a tails? I think that's tails.
That's a tails.
Yep, that's tails. So that's it for, I guess, Chihao's turn. He's going to retreat into the Meloetta. And that is...
It's a knockout. It's 140, and a
Ye-
tablet is 170. It's 70 per fusion and strike energy.
Yep, that is a knockout. Wow, so at least taking 2 prizes here from Chihao. But again, the question remains, is it too little too late? Yep, that was 170 hit points on the Luminion. So Meloetta does take another 2 prizes. So at least Chihao is down to the last 2 prizes here.
And this game suddenly gotten a bit close.
Yeah,
despite, you
it
know,
is.
No Mew VMAX coming out.
Chihao has played this to the best of his ability, and we are essentially at a stage where, you know, it's razor thin, I have to say.
AEON only needs another boss for him to win this match.
And Chihao does the same.
Yeah, both essentially,
Well, Chihao needs a little bit more, my bad.
Ah.
He needs a bit more.
perhaps so. He needs maybe a Mew and then
Yeah,
some energy.
yeah.
So it is still pretty close, I must say, despite how the early part of the game 2 went.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and I
it's-
think it's testament to both these players, you know, not giving up for Chihao, pushing all the way, go for the prize card that he can go for, and I hope to put himself in the situation to eke out a win. And for Ataman, it's just to be as consistent as possible to really figure out his outs to the win. I think both these players have played brilliantly this game.
Oh,
It's-
they definitely did.
It's just a matter of these minor increments, and we see
Ooh.
a Crobat V Max make an appearance.
300 HP, not easy to knock out.
Yeah, that makes it so that for Chihao, that's no longer an easy prize. So the Crobat V Max on your left here, the card that we're seeing more and more to be paired with Arceus for different reasons. But I prefer the fact that the Stealth Poison attack pretty much deals 80 damage, 70 plus 10 for the poison.
Yeah.
And then you hide behind maybe a Bibarel. And then your
Yeah.
opponent has to have multiple cards to try and dislodge that one single prizer that you don't want to knock out. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good play in
Yeah.
terms of making hard for your opponent to knock your Crobat VMAX.
It's quite an annoyance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty annoying.
We do see another quick ball here, discarding a DTE. I think Artaman is just looking for either options or just looking to thin the deck a little bit more.
Most probably he's trying to thin his deck.
Thin his hand as well,
Yeah.
probably.
And this is... We'll see whether he can get it from B-Barrel. You know, if he can get the boss from the B-Barrel, it'll be game. Oh. And it's gonna be a pretty interesting matchup here. But if Artun doesn't get the knockout that he needs this turn, Chi Hao might win next turn as well.
Yep. It's very close. I just don't know whether or not these players have the exact cards that they need at this point, because they need a certain combination, but there's a path to the peak.
That's pretty big as well.
Which is huge. It locks Chihao out of all the abilities that his deck relies on. And I believe that's the Industrial Incisors.
Yep.
Up to 5. Attaching a choice belt to the Crobat V Max. And here's a Marnie. Alright.
Oh, a Marnie.
So,
I think players are just...
yeah,
trying
he's
to
just,
double
yeah,
check.
I think he asked for a take back because he wanted to make sure he plays the Arceus first and now plays the Marnie.
Alright, Marnie and Puff. Popular combination to counter Mew. So we'll see it sticks.
Yeah, interesting stuff here.
You see B-Barrel retreating. Crobat VMAX has been promoted. And this is like a stealth poison attack coming here. Gonna probably hide behind the Dunsparce.
At this point, he has options for sure, so let's see what happens. It's gonna be a stealth poison.
And there it is. The Dunsparce has been promoted after the stealth poison.
Yep.
Knockout.
Yep.
One
Alright.
prize remaining.
1 prize remaining for Artaman, 2 prizes remaining for Chihao.
So it's all up to Chi Hao this turn. It's a pretty big turn here for Chi Hao. Does
Yep.
he have the stadium?
No access to any of his Fusion Strike systems at this point. He will have
Oh,
access to it now.
stadium.
That's a Rose Tower.
That's big stadium right there.
Right on time.
His belt as
Prize
well.
belt as well. An Ultra Ball to discard the entire hand. That's gonna grab the... I believe grabbing Mew. Yep, that's the Mew.
Mew is been... Alright, we finally get to see a Mew VMAX.
Okay. He's looking through his deck to make sure that he knows what he... Well, he knows what he needs at this point. We need not say it any further. The question is whether would he get it. And
Yeah.
he has an opportunity to draw as much as 15 cards if you combine Rose Tower with the 2 Fusion Strike systems.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of cards.
Yeah, that's absurdly a lot of cards. to
Well, if
draw.
you can thin your hand down
Yeah.
to 0 again every time, but let's see.
But Mew can do that.
And now the Rose Tower for 3.
Like, he didn't get what he need. Does he have any more ways to thin his hand? No,
That's
he
a-
got the
that's a-
energy.
yeah, that's the energy.
Double turbo
Alright.
energy. There you go, Fusion Strike system.
Yep, the first of 2 Fusion Strike systems.
He only has 4 bench Pokemon, so including the Mew in the front. Total up to 5 cards in hand. Not the
Yeah.
most...
Oh wow,
Okay.
double power tablets and the choice belt. He can draw three more cards. Going all in on this play now.
Oh, this is all or nothing right here. Can he get the card he need? No, I don't think so.
Doesn't look like it.
He does have an anti-bench space, but not sure he has any more Genesects in the deck.
Oh, this is very, very close.
Oh, this is
I
nerve-wracking.
I really wonder how many balls he had left in
Yeah.
his deck.
Oh, here's an Ultra Ball.
He played it like he knew he had an out. So the question is, how many outs did he have?
Yeah. And here comes the last
Oh,
Genesect.
the last Genesect. Oh, there was the last Genesect there.
Yeah. So this is essentially the final Fusion Strike system.
So there was a third Genesect all along in the deck,
Yeah.
but he had opted not to go for it because the game plan he had was to lead with multiple Meloedas and then now come in for the Mew play at the end.
Yeah.
I think quite a good heads-up play there for Chihao.
Yeah, very, very good heads-up play.
Yeah.
Trying to conserve his resources and not, going up front with just Mew VMAX since he knows Artuan has the Hoopa and now the
Oh, he
Crobat
even has the
VMAX.
Air Balloon to play, so it's actually 1 card in hand, drawing 5 cards
5
now.
cards, essentially. Then get the card that he desires. And that doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it.
Oh no.
But it's a Cramomatic.
Oh, Cramomatic.
It's all down to this.
No.
And there's a Tails.
Tails. Oh no. Oh, that's such a huge Tails.
He pretty much drew his entire deck. And he still missed.
How many cards are left in his deck, I wonder? That looks very little.
This is one of those situations where, you know, you have a very strong chance to get there, but for whatever reason, the Pokemon gods say maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe facing against an Arceus V-Star, perhaps. You know, no pun intended, he is technically the Pokemon god.
Oh, and he
But,
just opts to just take a knockout on the dance bars.
Oh, this is so unfortunate. I think he's just double checking.
That's
Yep, and here
Yeah,
comes
that's
Max
pretty much-
Carter.
Yep, that's pretty much game there for the knockout.
Max Carter for the knockout.
Yep. And
good
that's game. Ultimate has taken game 2. And that's it. We pretty much have
And we'll see how many
Ultimate
cards
going
left. Cramomatic.
Oh,
And
there
a
wa-
boss order?
it was essentially 2 cards
the
that he
boss
could have gone
order.
for.
It's at
the
the most bottom of the deck.
Yep, and one
Oh
more
my
card in would have been another Cramomatic, another chance to pretty much draw into or search into the
My
boss.
goodness, that's so lucky
And
from
Arthur
Arthur. Oh
takes
my goodness.
round 2, 2-0 against Chihao.
He is very close here.
Yep, it was a close game, obviously.
Very great game from both competitors.
Wow, I'm just at the edge of my seat. I think that's that was just an amazing game overall. I think we were treated to quite an amazing match, and commiserations to Chihao. Obviously, you know, he played his heart out there. That last game to try and tie the match was essentially there for the taking, but just not the right cards and not the right flips.
Yeah,
And
pretty
had-
unfortunate.
And handing the game to Artavan. Maybe
Yeah.
one thing that could have happened though in that match was maybe he could have retreated into the to a Genesect, because I don't believe there was a way for Artavan to take a knockout on the Genesect. I'm not too sure. There might have been a choice belt or something on.
There is a choice belt on the Crobat VMAX.
There you go. I was looking
Yeah.
more at the Hoopa, but if there's a choice belt on the Core Baby Max, then that's it. That's pretty much game. So nothing that he could retreat to would have survived a hit from that Crobat VMAX
Yeah.
essentially. So there you have it, pretty much game number or round 2 essentially from the Pokemon Trading Card Game Championships here in Malaysia. We will be back very shortly with the 3rd and final round in this tournament. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Pokemon cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon trading card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match a Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon. Now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the witness now or never. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take 1 for a regular, take 2 if it's a Pokemon V. Take 3 cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you win the game. Retreat to the bench, your Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items for the stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. When Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. Combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon, Pokemon Cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokemon, Pokemon Cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Smiles all around, the joy that I found. Shall we go one more round? Pokemon, Pokemon Cat. Pokemon, Pokemon Cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match your Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon, now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the witness now or never. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take 1 for a regular, take 2 if it's a Pokemon V. Take 3 cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you win the game. Retreat to the bench if your Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items for the stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. When Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. Combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon, Pokemon Cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokemon, Pokemon Cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Smiles all around, the joy that I found. Shall we go one more round? Pokemon, Pokemon Cat.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pokemon Trading Card Game Championships here in Malaysia. With me, Aaron, and my co-caster here, Darren. We are finally at the last round
Yeah.
of this 3-round event. And it's been a blast just bringing you coverage of this event from Malaysia and the top players from Malaysia, essentially duking it out to be crowned the champion. And we have a treat for you, all of you back home. We have the finals, essentially, the final round with the two highest ranked players, obviously. Those are the players that we want to show. And before that, let's take a look at the leaderboard so far in this tournament. We have essentially Gavin Lee King Fai, who featured on our first round stream playing Arceus Malamar, who is with 2 wins. And then we also have Arthur Van Akilan, also at 2 wins. He featured in our round 2 match, which was a pretty much a slugfest of Arceus Lucario and some Dark Friends
Yeah.
up against Mew, and he took that win there. Third is Joshua Teo, also with 2 wins here, and then from Yong Junsin, Liu Chihao, Eric Teo, and Lo Kenzun, all with 1 win and 1 loss each. And at this stage, we now have technically the top 2 players in this tournament on the final round that we're going to be streaming here now, Darren.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be an interesting matchup here from both players. We both seen their decks, what they can do, and we just want to see whether they can achieve it again in this final round.
Yep, definitely. I think both these players here have been essentially flawless throughout this entire event with 2 wins under their belts each. Now we will get to see them duke it out to really determine who is the champion of Malaysia. And the players look like they're starting up already. Arthur Van Akilan versus Lee Keng Fai here in round 3 of the Pokemon Trading Card Game Championships Malaysia. And all the best of both players, obviously these 2 players need no further introduction. They are staples of the community for many years now, both of them with accolades ranging from regional, special events, internationals, and even worlds. And we see Arthur starting out now with an Arceus V, going first up against Lee Keng Fai's Malamar V.
Well, not the best start for Kang Fai. Normally he would like to start Arceus as well, but not the worst as well. You know, it's a Malamar V, it's an attacker, but he would like that Arceus to be in front and start 20 charging to Malamar V. Essentially start to get it going for when it starts to evolve to Malamar V Max.
Yep, that is true. And I guess the main question here for viewers at home, and even for us on the panel here, Darren, what would you think of that Lucario in this matchup? It's gonna be interesting, I think.
Lucario is definitely going to be an interesting and a very important Pokemon in this matchup because it is a fighting Pokemon. So Arceus is weak to fighting. So this Lucario is definitely going to bring the pain to any Arceus V-Style, any fighting weak Pokemon as well.
We see it right off the bat as well.
Yeah, no.
He wants a high five, but he doesn't get any. So
Unfortunately.
that was a dark asset for 6. Arthur offering a high five.
Well, it looks like he pretty much got what he need. Before the Dark Asset, he got an energy, his attacker is down, he has a Bidoof in play. So this Crobat is just to solidify his board state, essentially. Just dig out more resource from the deck. And
Yep.
like-
Opts to play nothing, I think. It's still holding the same grip of 6. No cards played beyond that. So Arthur holding the cards close to himself. It's now Kang Fai's turn. Kang Fai's first turn. What is he able to do? Will we see a turn 1? Well, I was gonna say turn 1 Arceus play, but that's a path to the peak, which is interesting. No energy attachments, no Arceus. Just a Marnie after that.
This is an important Marnie here.
Oh,
Kang
yeah.
Fai has to get something going, you know. And doesn't really look like it, fortunately.
Yep, the path to the peak Marnie combination, one that we've seen multiple times here today already, even though it's only been 3 rounds. We've seen Marnie into path into Marnie essentially.
Yeah.
For I think 2 or 3 times now so far, and it seems like Kang Fai is just gonna be benching a Malamar
And-
V and
There's no Arceus V.
no Arceus, and that's about it, I presume.
Oh, this is not the best start here from Kang Fai. Especially when you're facing up against that Lucario there. Even though Malamar is not weak fighting, it is weak to grass, but not fighting. But it still can get knocked out once that Lucario V-Star does come out.
Yep, for sure. I think now Kang Fai is just opting to do what he can with the hand that he's been dealt with. Not the best of starts, unfortunately, and Arthur can capitalize on it if that forecast of the Marnie made sense for it. So Kang Fai attaching DTE to the bench Malamar V.
At least it's an energy drop here.
Oh, you see the Lucario V-Star make an appearance and an
an
Arceus V-Star off the bat
that
as well.
is some top, like that Marnie gave him everything essentially.
And let's see what's happening next.
So
It's just going to be a Trinity Nova for
108.
180, so it doesn't quite knock out the Malamar.
And we do see the energy goes onto the Lucario V-Star and also the newly benched Lucario V as well.
Yep, I think Ataman here just spreading out his resources across multiple fronts here so that he has multiple options going in. We didn't see a Bibarel that could have drawn him out from this Marnie, but
Yep.
at least the energy came down with the multiple V-Stars, and Ataman is definitely in the driver's seat in this game.
Yes, exactly. This Lucario is definitely going to bring the pain next turn.
And it's now King Fai's turn. What is he going to be playing? He has the Arceus V, so it was probably the card that he top decked this turn.
That's such an unfortunate thing here.
Yeah, it's...
Could have been nice last turn.
Oh yeah, definitely. At least getting an energy down onto that Arceus V and a hope for a switch or something like that, but nothing at this point. So we don't see an energy play yet for King Fai this turn.
So Kangbai is about a turn behind. He doesn't have any sort of V-Star power since his path is in play. And he's essentially behind in energy drop as well. We do
There's a
see
boss.
order.
Yep, I believe this is just a stall out a little bit. Let's see who King Fai goes for with this boss.
He's trying to slow down Arthurwin a bit. Trying to get his board ready. But he's going for the boss on the Bidoof. Hope that he gets stuck in the active position.
Boss on the Bidoof, say that 3 times fast.
I'm not going to attempt that.
Yep, so let's see. We see a choice belt coming up from Arthurwin and just a pass. Alright,
Oh.
so these players are essentially in top deck mode pretty
Yeah,
much.
this is a unique game of Pokemon right now. Who can top deck to victory?
We see a Dark Energy coming down onto the Arceus V, which is likely going to... Okay, so the Adventurous Discovery here from King Fai.
He's gonna get 3 V Pokemon from the deck. Extremely efficient supporter card.
We see a Hoopa, a Malamar, 2 Malamar V Maxes, I believe? Or 1 Malamar V and 1 Malamar V Max.
His active Malamar V is in prime position to get knocked out, so he doesn't really want to evolve it to the Malamar V Max.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? It doesn't really do anything
Yeah,
at that
so
time.
it's just most probably gonna evolve the bench.
Yep.
Most likely.
Grabbing a Luminion V as well, but that's currently just like any other basic Pokemon at the moment, thanks to the path.
Yep. Just a 170 HP basic Pokemon. Yeah, Path to the Peak completely changed the game again. You know, if you're thinking of playing
Oh.
Pokemon TCG, and suddenly you're playing Path. Oh, well, we're top decking now.
And King Fire does opt to evolve that Arceus V into the V-Star.
See what he opt to play here. No,
Nothing
this is
else
just a
left to
pass.
play, it's just a pass.
And Arthurwin now, again, top
Right,
decking mode
Arthurwin.
again. If he can get any sort of switching card.
Well, both these players are looking for switching cards at this
Right.
point, and just a
Oh,
pass.
Alright. So this game took a 180 degree.
It's gonna take a while, folks.
Yeah, it's an Arceus versus Arceus. But both have different flavors of attackers, pairing with the Arceus.
And both not drawing out from this path to the peak situation here, where
And looks like
yeah,
this seems like a possible another pass, and I guess it's a pass again from Kangfai. Yeah, see who can just top
Oh,
deck better.
that's a Lucario V-Star.
Yep, and another pass. I think
Yep.
people, they're just taking turns, just evolving their Pokemon and just, yep, your turn.
Pass by King Fai as well.
Well, this is an interesting game to say. For viewers at home, this is not a typical game of Pokemon. It's not essentially always played like this. Normally there's an attack going on, but this game looks like a friendly battle, perhaps. I'm not sure.
It's a friendly stare down. Arthur is
Yeah.
giving King Fai an opportunity to come back.
Yeah, oh, but it looks like a supporter card has been played, and it's a Marnie.
Alright, so that's something that both these players will welcome. Both of them get a fresh hand. Arthur gets a fresh hand of 5, and King Fai gets a fresh hand of 4. Now, let's see what happens here.
So we see that there's possibilities that we can do here from Arthurwan and Kangfai.
Yep. Oh, there's an escape rope though. That's interesting.
That's big. Now he has to promote one of his fresh Pokemon as well from Kangfai.
And what do you do here in this situation? You have essentially a fresh Malamar V with energy. You have obviously an Arceus V-Star. both of these Pokemon you would rather want to keep healthy.
This is not the situation Kangfai want to be in. This escape rope.
Yeah.
It's such a big
Yeah.
escape rope. Who is going to promote the Arceus? Arceus V-Star gets promoted,
Mm-hmm.
and now Ardawan will be thinking of who to promote. So Ardawan did a Trinity Nova earlier, so at least his Pokemon has some energy in play.
Yep, you will probably see them get an attack off, I think, this turn based on whichever options he chooses.
He can go on the offensive if he has energy cards. If he has an energy card in hand, he can go on
Mhm.
offensive with Lucario. But now we'll see on who is going to switch to, and it is the Lucario V-Star. There's 2 basic energy attached.
Yep.
And he's going to just V-Star power.
Yep, I believe there's Aura Star that's being
Yeah.
used, and that is pretty much a knockout. 3 energies on the opposing side of the field. With the choice belt, with weakness, that's more than enough.
That's, I think.
And it looks like Kangfai is scooping his game. Yep.
Ooh, looks like that path just
That's
double-edged sword on himself.
Yeah, it's pretty much the end for game number 1 here at this round 3. Kangfai is just saying, you know what, I'm not going to be playing this anymore. Let's go into game 2 and hope for the best. Arthur now leads 1-0 in this final Swiss round match here.
Oh, that was... I don't think that's what Kangfai had in mind when he put down the path to the peak.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I believe it at least got him a fighting chance still, because locking Arthur out of Starburst would have probably put Kangfai too far behind.
Yeah.
But rather unfortunately, he didn't draw out for that Marnie.
No, that Marnie... I think it Marnie both players to nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think both were at standstill for about 3 to 4 turns.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's... I don't know what to say about that.
And for those of you at home, once again, this isn't typically how you be playing the Pokemon trading card game, but when it happens, it happens.
Yeah, not... Sometimes how consistent your deck is doesn't make it always consistent, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've seen Drizzle engines falter, we've seen Bibarel engines falter, we've seen any
Mew.
sort of that. We've seen Mew
Mew,
falter
yeah.
on stream as well. So with that, essentially, we have one game up, one game for Artavan here in this final Swiss round. Kangfai now has an uphill battle to come back, essentially, in this matchup.
Yeah, he didn't really get his stuff going last game. That Arceus didn't do anything, his Malma couldn't attack. He didn't get any sort of offensive play out, unfortunately. So Arwen is most probably... He set up his board pretty nicely before the path, so that's the good thing. He managed to attack with the Trinity Nova as well, so that path essentially just, I guess, blocks Kangfai's own way of winning, or coming back, perhaps.
Yeah, pretty much a double-edged sword, but again, it's essentially, you know, the risk that you play running decks that run on abilities as well.
Yeah.
So now we see Kangfai open with a Bidoof. Again, not an ideal starter, and Arthur again opening with that Arceus V.
Arceus V. Man, oh man, haven't been seeing this card a lot. So it looks like it's a quick ball. It's carrying a basic dark. Most likely an Arceus might be coming out to start setting up Arceus V-Star next turn. A single Bidoof in the active, you know, might have some trouble retreating later on, but we'll see how Kangfai figure out. He did it in the earlier round, where his B-Barrel got him out of the active position
Oh yeah, definitely.
with the air balloon.
Yep,
where he
yep.
draw it.
I think that Bidoof is going to be very valuable the moment it gets to the Bibarel. The
Exactly.
question now is, what can he do in the meantime?
Last game he didn't have the Bidoof down, so maybe that was a cause as well. With that path in play, so maybe now with path in play, if he does so to do it later on, maybe it won't be so bad. So we do see an Arceus come down.
Yep, at least that's a start. There's an Arceus in play. Does he have, I don't know, maybe an energy attachment or something?
It would be optimal if he has any sort of energy attachment this turn. He does. Looks like opting for a dark energy here onto the Arceus V. And he's pretty much content perhaps with what he has played. But maybe he's trying to think of if he could get out more Pokemon. And looks like Malama V does come down.
Yep, so Melamar, Arceus, and a Bidoof in play. Not too bad for Kangfai's first turn going first, and now Arthurwin gets a shot at his first turn.
I mean, Kangfai technically got what he wanted down. Arceus V, Malamar V, a Bidoof. Everything that can evolve potentially next turn, and they can start doing what they wanted to do.
Yep, definitely. Both these players essentially, well, I mean, I should speak only for Kingfy at this point. He does have the cards that he needs in play to get his game plan going. Now we have to see whether Artman gets that opportunity as well.
Yeah, we'll see how he can get to set up his board as compared to Kangfai. Because Arceus decks does tend to try to set up at least a bit before they start attacking, so you can power up your attackers at the back with that Trinity Nova. So it looks like Artun is opting for an Ultra Ball for the Luminion.
So Luminion here probably grabbing a supporter. We see another Arceus V and an Air Balloon.
And like a research, I assume.
Yeah, it looks like a research.
Yeah, it's probably a research. He's drawing up to 7 cards in hand. Lucario does come down, that's pretty big. And he does get the double turbo energy. He does have the Air Balloon in the active Arceus V, so it is able to retreat to the bench Arceus as well. And this is a pretty optimal play here from Artun.
Yep, he's also getting set up essentially, but I think with the fact that he has a Trinity Charge going second here,
He's
and
definitely
powering
going
up all the attackers that he needs,
to be... Yeah,
namely the Lucario V now.
this is pretty much going to be a very interesting few turns to come here. As we'll see how they are going to pivot their way through this matchup, because Arceus is weak to fighting. And we're going to see a Trinity Charge here, most likely going onto the Lucario to perhaps stop the Arceus V-Star coming down later on from Kangfai. You see Lucario getting charged up, one fighting energy. And perhaps it looks like the Arceus is also getting a dark energy attached.
Yep,
And
I think, yeah, this is something Artman's been doing very diligently, making sure that his energy resources are spread out.
Yeah. It looks like he's going for 2 energies on the Arceus.
Okay, I'm not sure how I like that, but maybe he's playing the situation where he wants to be dealing maximum damage
Yeah.
with the Arceus V-Star rather than have a DTE on it.
Well, Lucario also can attack with just a fighting and a DTE attach, but its attack cost is fighting and
That's true.
colorless energy. So it is an efficient attacker, and it does a lot of damage. And if you're weak to fighting, I think that minus 20 is not gonna be that important.
That's true, that's true. And of course you have modifiers like Choice Belt as well coming
Yeah.
into play. So now let's see what Kangfy is able to do here.
So Kangfai first off needs to get that Bidoof out of active position, and perhaps start evolving to Arceus V-Star and attacking with the Trinity Nova. So this is gonna be interesting how he pivots into this point of the game.
Alright, that's an Ultra Ball here, discarding a switch
Oh.
and a Dark Energy.
Oh,
Are we
just
gonna see it? Yep, looks like we may see.
Oh, opting for plus B barrel. But then he is discarding a switch card. So we'll see which way does Kangfai want to approach this matchup. He is still thinking whether to put that Arceus down. I think it's a tough situation here for Kangfai. With the energies on Artun's side, he's ready to face mostly anything at the moment. So this turn here for Kangfai is going to be extremely important. And we do see the Arceus V-Star come down, and immediately the V-Star power of Starbirth comes to play for Kangfai. Any 2 cards he wants, it'll be his. Such a strong ability. That's why this Arceus V-Star has been such a important card that's come out from Brilliant Stars and has shaped the metagame like totally
Yeah.
180.
Yep, pretty much. I think so far we've had a pretty diverse format since Brilliant Stars release. As much as I'm excited for Astral Radiance coming up, I definitely want to see a bit more of these decks just for the next couple of weekends before we shift fully into the new era. But then again, you know, not looking too far into the future, let's see how these players navigate the situation we have in front of us here.
Double
So,
turbo.
Yep, DTE,
B
Barrel,
Air balloon.
and the Air Balloon. Wow, that's a perfect combination of 3 cards.
So
And
here-
now Industrious Incisors to boot. 5 fresh cards for King Fi.
I don't believe he played a supporter yet. I don't believe so.
That just means there's more options for King Fi at this
Yeah.
point. We should see at least an attack going up, but the question is what's next after that.
So most likely a Trinity Nova coming soon. Most likely
Oh,
charging up
that's a
Malabar.
big press research there. Getting rid of, I think, a Melma V, a Palpat, as well as an Arceus V.
A little painful with the Pulpet there, discarding it. Normally it's used to get back Boss's Order
Yeah,
and such.
that is true. That is true.
But we'll see how that comes to play later
Ah,
on.
he gets a second Malamar V.
So this doesn't turn out that bad here for King Fi. He does what he wants, which is essentially getting out an Arceus, getting the Trinity Nova,
Mhm.
possibly getting the energy onto the Malma V, then start attacking with Malma V Max next turn. So this essentially is like the roadmap for King Fi's game plan here.
Yeah, and I think the most important part here is that he gets the first attack off as well. The question here is that enough for the game? Because we see the Lucario on the bench
Yeah.
for Artavan, and that's the main game changer here for King Fi.
I think another game changer thing that happened as well is this attack doesn't take a knockout.
Oh yeah, exactly. So even though you get one attack in with energy coming into play, you're not taking a knockout with this attack.
Yeah. So this essentially gives the tempo back to Artavan to perhaps get a knockout. Perhaps with the Lucario V-Star, he managed to get it out, and that could swing the tempo in his favor.
Yeah, I think we saw here Artavan play a research. I don't believe we saw it on camera, unfortunately, but it could have been a research drawing into 7, and now an Ultra Ball here, discarding the Judge and the Quick Ball. Probably searching out for the Arceus V-Star.
Yeah, this most likely getting out either Arceus V-Star or even Lucario V. But most likely it's going to be the Arceus V-Star because there's no path in play, so general star buff thing's going to happen
Yep.
in a few more seconds, perhaps. But there's also Bidoof in play, so he could evolve to B-Barrel. There's so many options he can do.
Yep, I think the deck really functions pretty much like a toolbox situation here for Artavan. His game plan allows him to shift gears a little bit into different attackers. Having multiple Arceus on board helps as well.
Yeah.
You may not necessarily want to expose your Lucario too early. And I think in this situation here, yep, we see the V-Star coming down. I was about to say that he'll go for the V-Star. Also has the choice belt for the Lucario V.
Perhaps want to take an offense route against the Malama V. So could be a choice for him as well. So we see a Crobat come down, Dark Asset for 5 cards. And most likely, if he doesn't get the PC1, he's most probably going to Star Buff. In order to attack with Arceus, he needs a singular basic energy. But with the with Lucario V-Star, he needs the double turbo energy. So we'll see how he would like to pivot his game plan. He has multiple ways of attacking.
Yep, looks like going for the V-Star here. V-Star ability. Starbird, grabbing 2 cards from the deck.
Just take
So
any 2 cards.
no Aura Star this time around.
Yeah. We did see game 1, so
We did see game 1 already,
yeah.
so we complete the cycle essentially of both the available V-Star powers
Yeah.
in this matchup.
essentially, yes. That shows how diverse is this meta game at the moment. Despite you
Alright.
see a lot of Arceus
Mhm,
in the meta, but it's cool to see, not only Star Buff is the only thing you're gonna play.
Yeah.
With the V-Star.
I mean, I love playing Whimsicott. I love saying Fluffball Star.
Oh.
And we now see here a big knockout coming from the Lucario V-Star on that Arceus V-Star using Fighting Knuckle
Yes.
for, I want to say, a huge ton of damage.
Oh.
120 plus 120 more for being a Pokemon V. Obviously, there's Choice Belt as well on top of it, so that's definitely a knockout for Artavan. Going up 2 prizes now, and what can Kangfa respond with? We see a Malamar VMAX
Alright.
off the bat right away. Malamar VMAX, the card that Kangfa has decided to pair with Arceus. We see 2 of them essentially, both
Alright.
of them in play right now. And the path of victory for Malamar is a little different from the traditional partners of Arceus V-Star. Malamar VMAX with only 1 attack, and a very nice art I must say, but the attack, Max Jammer for 180, allows you to pretty much attack your opponent's hand by removing 1 card from it to put it at the bottom of their deck. So limiting the options that your opponent has.
Yes, it's a pretty disruptive gameplay because normally they'll try to chain Marnies and Paths and then Max Jammer to reduce their hand size and maybe hope the opponent gets stuck and they couldn't do anything. So that's mostly the game plan here from Kang Fai. He tried to achieve that because he is in the back foot right now. He is behind in prizes. There's a Lucario pressuring him, and his Malamar VMAX here has had to do some heavy lifting.
Yeah, definitely. I think the main thing to really dial in here is that Malamar VMAX will not be taking 1-hit knockouts on the other opposing V-Stars. If Kang Fai is looking for a route to victory, he has to take that into consideration, and it really depends on what he plays in the next couple of turns, which determines his route, essentially, right?
There's a few options.
Alright, we see a Marnie here, which is, well, something that we expected because it's pairing well with Max Jammer, so that could be a reason.
Plus, Atun just took 2 prizes earlier, so
Oh, yeah.
limiting the hand size again. Plus, expecting a Max Jammer coming. It's definitely he's gonna stick to what he know might work. He hopes to get Atun stuck, basically. But he does hope this Malama doesn't get an early knockout.
And we see a path to the peak here. Not as relevant as previously, I might add. The Starburst has been used, the Dark Asset has been used by the Crobat.
Yeah.
But just having it in play at least means that there is no other shenanigans that can happen. We don't know if Atun has other abilities.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just a safety precaution.
yeah, just having it in play.
Just stops anything sudden that might come out from your opponent's deck or hand. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just path to the pick. We have seen it enough. We've seen too much, maybe.
And we've always been seeing it from King Fai here, obviously, since round 1, all the way now here in game 2 of round number 3.
It's been an important card in his plan to disrupt opponents. He even played turn 1. And it got his opponent stuck before.
He got himself stuck as well. So.
Unfortunately, yes. It works both ways.
Yeah, so those are the nature of stadiums. When they were introduced, essentially, players had to play around the fact that this is going to impact both players, even though I'm playing that card. But now we see Kang Fai promoting the Malamar VMAX to deal 210 damage. And before Atun draws a card, so Kang Fai gets to pick one to put under the deck.
Pretty big disruptive part here of the deck.
Bring you down to only 3 cards before your top deck. After that Marnie, you opted to grab the double turbo energy.
Looks like
so back to Atman's court. What can he play at this point?
he would love to have an energy attachment every turn, because his Lucario is...
Yeah, Lucario is gonna go down, I think, at this stage, unless he opts to retreat or something like that.
He doesn't have long to live.
Yeah.
That Arceus is almost
we see a
powered.
Marnie, so there is a Marnie. He was able to top deck into the Marnie after the Max Jammer.
So pretty good here. He at least gets to draw some cards out of his deck. And his Arceus is almost ready to attack as well. So once this Lucario goes down, he has a backup attacker to attack. And we'll see what else does he want to do here. He can also just swing into the Malma VMAX, which is going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, just not enough for a one-hit knockout at this stage, so he will be on the 2-hit game plan as well.
Oh, interesting here. He's opting to attach the... He's deciding on where to attach his basic energy. He does attach it to the Crobat VMAX. So here comes a Fighting Knuckle here for, I believe, 250. Because Fighting Knuckle basically does 240 damage base. With the Choice Belt is 280, no, it's 260 because of the double turbo, minus 20 more damage. I think the players are just double checking the damage counters.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much it matters at this point, but we definitely want to make sure that the right damage is in. So there you go.
That's a lot of damage from that one Pokemon.
Yeah, it's meant to be doing a lot of damage to Vs. Essentially, that's what Lucario V-Star is great at doing.
This Pokemon was not so hyped up when it was released. People think, oh, Mew is just gonna start taking over the meta game, and Lucario is weak to Psychic, so hence we didn't see the Lucario even being played in the Mew matchup. So
Yeah, that's true. And while saying that, I think Arthwin got the right pairing right here, pairing the Lucarios with some dark attackers. He's essentially been able to navigate through the Mew matchup as we saw in round two, but now he's up against a double Malamar VMAX situation, which doesn't really have any impact on the Lucario because you're still gonna two-shot anyway.
yeah.
And now the question is, what can Kangfai do to claw his way back in the game?
I think Kangfai just has to hope that his Malamas just stop Arthur from doing what he wants to do, which is start attacking non-stop. So he has to somehow disrupt his hand again, and then Max Jammer, possibly some other boss order, perhaps coming out to start taking knockouts because he is behind on prizes.
Yep, Arthwin did get that knockout on the Arceus V-Star that Kangfai had offered up earlier on just to accelerate energy, obviously.
And like we do see a Max Jammer knocking out the Cario V-Star.
Yep, so 4 cards to grab, and obviously grabbing the Marnie here.
Goodbye, Marnie. Unironically, Marnie going to the bottom of the deck. Yep.
And what does Arthwin have here? He is missing an energy, but he gets an energy switch off the top.
Oh.
He tops deck into the energy switch to get some damage going. And this means that he's able to get an attack and will knock out the
Malamar VMAX.
Malamar VMAX and also get energy onto his
Crobat.
V-Star
VMAX.
VMAX as well.
That's a
So
lot of V.
that clutch top deck for the energy switch.
Yeah, it is very, very clutch right there.
He clutched into a Marnie the last time Max Jammer was used. And now Arthwin going down to a single price.
There is 2 Bidoof, a B-Barrel and a Bidoof in play, so 2
Double
B-Barrels,
B-Barrels, yep.
So if just Kangfai just needs to hope that his B-Barrel don't get knocked out and just his Malamar VMAX just tanks it out. I
Yeah,
think that's all he has to do. He has to hope that this Malamar VMAX just stays in front and start max jammering and slow down Arthwin. That's all he has to do. I don't really think he has other outs.
Yeah, there's nothing much going for him at this stage of Kangfai. He was hoping that that one Max Jammer Marnie combination would stick and Arthwin will miss an attack so that he could go for maybe even the Luminion on the bench. But at this point of time, it doesn't seem like there is a lot of time left for Kangfai, I should say. We see a Raihan here, so Raihan, a supporter card that allows you to search your deck or search your discard pile for basic energy to attach to one of your Pokemon, and then search your deck for a Pokemon as well. But the only condition is you can only play it if one of your Pokemon got knocked out last turn.
Yeah, essentially it's like a semi-comeback card.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'll see which card does Kangfai want to take in order to perhaps give him a slight edge in the upcoming turn.
Well, it's more like a way back into the game
Yeah.
at this stage, right? So
The thing is, Arthwin does have energies ready on 2 attackers.
Yep.
His Crobat can attack. He has 2 attacks. So Crobat VMAX with 2 energies does only a 70 plus a poison. But his second attack does a cool 180 vanilla damage.
And I think at this stage here, so he opted to grab a Big Charm, just attaching it to the Malamar PMax to make it
Live as long as possible.
yeah, 340 hit points at this point, and just goes for a Max Jammer.
Here we go. What card does he has?
Oh, I see a card there that really
Oh.
needs to be grabbed.
Yep, and that's goodbye. Don't really need to think much. Arthwin only needs 1 card to
Oh, top deck the boss for the
order.
win.
And
That-
that's it.
That's it. That's pretty much it. Or he even had the
Yes,
escape rope
ropes.
as well. So yeah, I was
Oh.
about to say that Kangfai should be grabbing the escape rope
But
instead of the research, but he grabbed the research, and then the top deck was the the boss's order anyway. And Arthwin takes the win, 2 games to 0. We got a feel for Kangfai here. Commiserations to him. He played a brilliant match based on
tried
what
his best,
outs he
man.
had. But Arthwin had the right top deck every single turn.
every time.
Every time he was Marnied into a Max Jammer, he drew out into the card that he needed to
He got-
progress the game.
Yeah, he got what he need every single time. He got Marnie, even Max Jammer, and he top decks the right card. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the nature of the game.
In 3 consecutive turns, he drew into the Marnie, he drew into the energy switch, and he drew into the boss order. And that's pretty much it from the match. Arthwin takes the match down 2-0 against Gavin Lee Keng Fai, and we essentially have the first player with 3 games to 0 at this stage here at the Pokemon Training Card Game Championships in Malaysia. I have nothing else to say, Darren. That was an explosive match. You know, the matchup was as it was, what we saw, but you just got to really feel about how it went down, right? We talk about, you know, Lucario, we talk about the Malamar VMAX, but I still want to go back to that path to the peak in Game 1.
Oh man,
Did that set the stage for the rest of the match?
I think for that game 1, that path to the pick completely shut down both players' side. But the fact that Arton has set up his board already with Trinity Nova, that's already more than enough for Arton to take the victory after that.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we have to talk about the fact that he was able to draw out of the Marnie Max Gemma combo in Game 2 from Keng Fai. I think overall, that was pretty much that's all she wrote, essentially, right? You're able to draw out from the lock. And that just means that the lock was never effective in the first place. So once again, commiserations to Lee Keng Fai. Obviously, he had a great run getting here in the first place in the top 8 and going all the way to round 3 with 2 games up, 2 matches up, I should say. And now we have to congratulate, obviously, to Arthur for going undefeated at this point of our 3 matches in Swiss. And of course, we will want to see the final results later on. But obviously, right now, we're going to have a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We will come back with the results shortly. Take care. See you.
Pokemon Cat! Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match a Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon, now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the
knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the win, it's now or never. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take one for a regular, take two if it's a Pokemon V. Take three cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you win the game. Retreat to the bench if the Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items for the stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. When Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. Combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon Cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokemon Cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Pokemon Cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match your Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon, now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the witness now or never. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take 1 for a regular, take 2 if it's a Pokemon V. Take 3 cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you win the game. Retreat to the bench, your Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items for the stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. When Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. Combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon Cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokemon Cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Smiles all around, the joy that I found. Shall we go one more round? Pokemon Cat. Pokemon cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not alone now. Attach energy to match your Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon, now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the witness now or never. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take 1 for a regular, take 2 if it's a Pokemon V. Take 3 cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you win the game. Retreat to the bench, the Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items for the stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. When Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. Combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokemon cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my
Welcome back, folks, to the Pokemon Trading Card Game Championships Malaysia. My name is Aaron. With me, Darren Chen. Darren, it's been an awesome day of coverage here for the trading card game. What are your thoughts so far on what has happened and pretty much the end of the tournament at this stage?
Well, it's pretty interesting because we've seen a lot of different decks per se, even though there's a lot of Arceus around, but it's different variants of Arceus. We didn't get to cover much other decks because they didn't appear on stream, but there were like Entei decks and also other Suicune decks, so it's interesting.
Great stuff, great stuff. And I think right now we want to show you the final standings of these players here at the final stage. And we have pretty much crowned our champion, who is Arthur Van hitting first place with a 3-win, 0-loss score. Second place goes to Gavin Lee King Fai, who we saw went down in round 3, pretty much the finals of this Swiss, essentially, with 2 wins and 1 loss. And rounding out 3rd and 4th place is Lo Kenzun, also with 2 wins and 1 loss, and Liu Chi Hao with 2 wins and 1 loss. Commiserations to the rest of the players as well, who all showed up here. Eric Teo, Young Jun Sin, and Joshua Teo. Overall, I have to say, Darren, we had an awesome day of Pokemon TCG.
Yeah,
but
we do.
Now, let's really get to know our second place player, Gavin Lee King Fai. Gavin, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you feeling right now?
I feel tired mostly, and in another way, I feel also I also feel relieved lah, that all this is over. Despite not making it, but my good friend Atavan did, so yeah, I'm happy for him.
Now, I just want to ask a question from game 1.
Yeah.
Do you think putting down the path to the pick early was your part of why you lost in game 1, or maybe it was a misplay in that part? Or what do you think if you get to reflect back on that decision when you play the path?
I would still play the path because for his turn 1, he sets up very well with a good hand size, and I would usually assume that he will definitely be able to find out an Arceus V-Star for the Star Birth for to steamroll me later on. So I will need to bet on that he will break from the path and give me some turns to set up from there, because being an Arceus mirror like this, and he plays Lucario, so I will need to gain the upper hand from at the beginning, or else when he lands the first Trinity Nova first and charges up to Lucario or things like that, that will be pretty much game over.
I see. Now, do you think any other ways of you to overcome that matchup against Artowans, especially in the finals, in the round 3? Do you think any other way that you could get around his whole deck of Lucario and also his dark attacking Pokemons per se?
Yeah, actually starting first does help for sure. Like second game I started first, but there was a dilemma on my end that when I discard everything with my Ultra Ball and things like that, I couldn't pull off the Trinity Nova play alongside with the path in play. So I went for the Bibarel Balloon from the Starbirth, and then I hope to draw into path, into which I drew into a Sycamore, and then I played it, but I missed the path. So
Right.
from then on, he is able to set up everything, put down the Crobat and everything. So the moment he charges that Lucario, it's pretty bad.
I see.
But for my end, I think I will really need to go first and then land the first Trinity Nova with the path in play. So that will be a very good way to actually overcome that matchup.
Great stuff. So away from the game, I know you're essentially going to be representing Malaysia and yourself essentially at the World Championships. I think this is your second Worlds invite, from what I understand, or your second time heading to Worlds?
Yep.
Yep, that is in itself a great achievement, so congratulations on that. How do you feel at this point, knowing that the event is done and now you can look forward to Worlds? How do you feel about that?
I think I feel very relieved and happy that my friend, one of my friends have actually gotten day 2 as well. So yeah, we are looking forward to the trip.
Great stuff.
Yep.
Great stuff. All right, so final thoughts. Do you have any messages to your fans and your viewers at home who have been following you since the first round today, and even before that in your journey? Do you have anything to say to any of them?
Yeah, I think thank you everyone, for coming up to the stream and participate. And yeah, I'll do my best at both.
Thanks, thank you so much, Kevin Lee King Fire. Congratulations once again, and we'll definitely see you in Worlds.
Yep, thanks.
All right, thanks.
Great. And that's pretty much hearing from Gavin Lee King Fai, our second place player at this tournament. He put up a fight. He was playing Arceus, Malamar VMAX, which is pretty much I would say one of the better Arceus variants for this particular top 8 situation or top 8, tournament.
Yeah.
It's just that he was not able to combat his final hurdle, essentially, which was the first player of this tournament, Artavan Akilan, which we will hear from very soon. We know for a fact that he's been playing the Arceus Lucario matchup, and right now let's hear from him.
So
Hello, Artavan. Congratulations, my
Thank
friend,
you.
for taking this tournament down. We saw you play in back-to-back rounds, round 2 and round 3. Just tell us a little bit, how are you feeling right now?
Really good. It's incredible because it means a lot. It's exactly marks 10 years of me playing Pokemon. So winning the championship, Malaysia was a huge thing for me actually. So yeah, that's about it.
I have a question first.
Yeah.
Do you think Kang Fai's half to the pick in game 1,
Uh-huh.
do you think that was a good play from him? But then in a way, does it benefit you in that kind
It
of game?
definitely put a stop for both of us. I can't really say if it's a right play because I'm not sure about his hands. But I do know when he adventure, all three all three cards in his hands are Pokemons only. So I know it's just going to be, steamrolling on who top decks what first, and I think I got there first. So, but I think it's the right play what he did. I think that's the optimal play because I already have my Arceus V-Star and I could have done way more damage if it was free actually. So I think that was a really good play actually.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yep, great stuff. I think overall your deck choice is pretty unique. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about this deck? Arceus, Lucario, and Dark Box essentially.
Yeah, so,
tell us a little bit more about it.
The idea came very, very in a funny way. So it was just supposed to tribute for my friend Shane, and he's not around here, so he's in Singapore right now. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna tribute you this game, and it's been like so long we haven't met and stuff. And so I bought the box. I bought Lucario. I went to pick up my another friend Armani, and I told him, dude, I need to make a deck for Nats, and I don't want to play mainstream decks. He's like, what do you have in eye? I said, I want to tribute Shane, so Lucario. He's like, Arceus is meta, let's combine them. And then he's like, okay. Then he's like, but you lose to Mew. And I'm like, what to use to beat Mew? Dark. Let's throw some Dark inside. So so we just mix and match. And after that came the part where we both try to make sure the deck is more consistent. We played most of the lines like 4-4, except for the Bibarels and the tech cards. It's obvious techs. And whatever else is 100% on consistency. Because consistency is king.
Yeah.
It's known in
Yeah.
Pokemon for that. So, I mean, it was good, like to know that there's no other decks out there at the time when I was playing Qualifier 1. There's only one guy who, Haris, he actually picked the deck and said, dude, I love your deck, let's go play. And then it was played by Malik in UIC. So it was fun, to know when you create a deck with your friend and it's going worldwide, That was good actually. And in one thing led to another, it was an anti-meta deck all of a sudden because most of the meta was Arceus.
Yep.
And a lot of people falls for the Collapse Stadium dance pass play, which you guys did not see actually in the gameplay actually. It's like I'll bench down a dance pass and then they won't bench theirs. So when the time is right, I'll Collapse Stadium and throw away my dance pass and then use Lucario to kill their Arceus. So in that way, they will be like, oh, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that kind
Yep.
of thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's great to hear that. I think
Yeah.
overall you attributed, your essentially your circle of good friends
Yeah,
essentially to leverage.
definitely.
I think at this point, we just want to hear one last thing from you. We know this is probably going to be, I think this is your second World's adventure.
Yes, that's right.
And that's always great to hear. Tell me a little bit more how you feel about that, and what is your final message to your fans at home who have been tuning in to you all through today and even before that?
So it's surreal, like the whole experience. It's the final checklist to get day 2 for Worlds. I mean, every person wants to be in day 2 Worlds. Flying to UK is going to be like expensive at this time period, but the stipend helps a lot actually. So that's one thing. Basically, for people who's watching, just create ideas. Always try rogue decks. There are meta decks, but try to go anti-meta a bit. fun decks are always going to make you less stressed, and it's going to make you play even better actually. And just very quick shout out to like Colin, Malik, Darren, and then who is it? Armani, Shane. Thanks for always being on a journey, and most importantly, thanks to Marcus, Mad Hatters, for actually letting us playtest every single time over there, and that was really good. So yeah, I think I feel good about this for Worlds especially. Yeah, I'll try my best to do better in Worlds actually.
Great stuff. Congratulations once
Thanks a
again,
lot, guys.
Arthur.
All right.
Really appreciate you
Thank
being here.
you.
And that's pretty much the end for today on our interviews with the top 2 players. Thank you all so much for tuning in. At this point of time, we still have one last thing left remaining, and that is pretty much the prize giving ceremony for the players who have achieved it. We'll be back very soon. Do not go anywhere. This is Aaron and Darren signing off. We'll be back real soon.
Your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. Combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon, Pokemon cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, never want to forget. Pokemon, Pokemon cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Smiles all around, the joy that I found. Shall we go one more round? Pokemon, Pokemon cat. Pokémon, Pokémon cat. Decide who goes first in a game of scissors, paper, stone. Be a good sport and go and shake each other's hand. 60 cards in a deck, grab it and place it on the deck zone. Draw 7 cards per man, now baby that's your hand. So many types of cards in a Pokemon training card game. Pokemon cards and trainer cards and energy cards, they're not the same. Make sure you have your basic Pokemon card in your hand. Place it in the active spot, wait on the bench, think of a plan. Now take the first 6 cards of the deck, go on and set them aside for the prize. Now your prep is done, go and have some fun. Brace yourself, the battle starts in 3, 2, 1. If you're going first on your very first start, attack support cards are not allowed now. Attach energy to match your Pokemon's card. Your turn's done, it's their turn to go. Come the enemies to attack your Pokemon, now you must be ready whenever. Get it to the knocking out or you get knocked out. Now go get the win, it's now or never. The prize cards you get depends on the type of the Pokemon. Take 1 for a regular, take 2 if it's a Pokemon V. Take 3 cards if you get to beat a Pokemon V Max. If you take all prize cards, that means you win the game. Retreat to the bench if your Pokemon's about to get knocked out. Use items or to stadiums, don't give up and have no doubt. When Pokemon evolve, they get stronger in attack. Dynamax, Gigantamax, and the Eternal Eternamax. All your favorite Pokemon inside this very special deck. The combo deck utilizing abilities. Your favorite deck that you use first. Pokemon, Pokemon cat. My passion burns brighter each and every time I battle. No matter how old I get, I never want to forget. Pokemon, Pokemon cat. Victory or defeat, I'm always right at the edge of my seat. Smiles all around, the joy that I found. Shall we go one more round? Pokemon, Pokemon cat.
Welcome to back to the PCG Malaysia Championships. We are now going to give the prizes to our winners. At number 4 is Liao Kenjun. Liao Chi Hao. Oh, Liu Chi Hao. Sorry about that. So congratulations. You get a nice trophy, a top 4 trophy, and also a day 1 invite to the Pokemon World Championships in London. Congratulations. We hope for your continued participation and we hope to see you again. Thank you so much. At number 3, I would like to invite Lao Kenjun. Congratulations, Kenjun. You will also get a top 4 trophy and a day 1 invite to the Pokemon World Championships. Congratulations, and we hope for your continued participation. Very well played. And we are here to give our finalists the prize. Lee King Fai. Congratulations, King Fai. You also get a trophy and a day 1 invite to the 2022 Pokemon World Championships in London. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you. Okay. Yeah, and we hope to see you again. Thank you so much. And our champion, Artavan Akilan. Congratulations, Artavan. You are the champion of this tournament. We have seen your matches. They were very, very heated. Yes. And you get the coveted Day 2 invite to the 2022 Pokemon World Championships with a travel award. Thank you so much for participation and congratulations once more. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's go.